Look, and the little microphone is just on the screen. Look, just so you know, I'm talking into one. That's cute. This is working
See?
out great.
All right. Welcome. Welcome, viewers and listeners. Welcome, special guests, Toby Hamson, 46RC, and Taylor Delosa, unaffiliated. Uh,
Yeah.
um, so, yeah, this is going to be a fun podcast. We're going to talk about the big thing Toby did. He got the call to go do things and stuff. But before we get into the things and stuff, Toby, I know you sat down with Keenan way back when on No Name and kind of told your story, but I didn't listen to that podcast. I just know you did it. I didn't listen to it yet, but
Forgiven.
I don't know how many people had the chance or didn't. So tell us about 46RC a bit and how that all got started.
Disclaimer. You're about to listen/watch a podcast hosted by two dudes that swear, pound beers, and make bold statements. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, we don't intend to offend anyone, so if you do get offended from any of this, well, that's your problem. Now buckle up and enjoy the show.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It started back in I think 2017, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2018. I don't know. Around that area. So I spent a lot of time racing at a track in New Jersey called Critters, and it's a kind of a clay. It's not really clay. It's like an indoor dirt track. Anyway, I was pretty close to the owners, and I think they were probably getting pretty tired of running the track or whatever. So they gave me the opportunity to take over the track and effectively rent it from them. Um, so I grabbed originally. I grabbed like six guys that I knew. Vin was one of them, um,
Then
and then Jay Zone.
Manchanda.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You probably know Jay Zone, Navoso, Matt Navoso, two or three other local guys. So the idea was, to run the track and between us we do all the maintenance and run the races and blah blah blah. Anyway, that quickly became too many chefs in the kitchen type situation. So kind of pared it down to two, a little bit of butter in between, which is just the way it went. And we ran the track really successfully from I think it was July 2017 into about March 2018. And things happened or whatever, and we it sort of moved on, and the owners took it back over, and after that, uh, I did a lot of social media and promotion, which was a big learning experience and proved to be very successful in pulling in a big crowd. So our Friday nights we'd have like 50 entries, which is good club racing. So after the kind of like dust cleared, I decided, let me kind of turn it into like an event promotion sort of brand. And then I'd always been kind of interested in some of the camera stuff that I'd done prior to that. All basic stuff, just like recording races and there's a whole bunch of them on YouTube that I did years ago, just like a static camera.
Yeah.
And then I started going out to LCRC, and one thing that always baffled me was why they have no cameras. I mean, it's a huge track. I mean, it wasn't maybe so well known then, but obviously they'd held nationals once or twice, electric nationals and nitro nationals, at least maybe two ENATs. So I'm like, Kevin, we should just set up a camera, so that people could see what's going on. So it was like a super basic setup, just like one camera at the end of the driver's stand at the end of the ramp where you go up, and we tracked an Ethernet cable all the way over, and just had like a little decoder there, and it was good for what it was, but there were some sort of hiccups, and it just kind of went from there. Buy more gear, make it more complex, and then he built a little tiny little scaffolding booth right there. kind of like first generation booth, and then we got kind of like more, just sort of snowballs, you buy more stuff, you want more, and then here we are today, so that's kind of how it went.
Okay. Well, where are we today? Like, so you've been doing Motorama and stuff. You've been doing LCRC like in the past like 2 years. You brag a little bit, give
Yeah,
yourself some flowers.
Yeah, I mean, since probably 20, obviously 19, we went into sort of COVID or whatever. Didn't really miss many races, but then it's just kind of gotten bigger and better. Mugen was pretty good, pretty solid. It's a learning exercise every time you do it. There's always something that. Can we swear on this? I don't know what
Yeah, I
your
don't give a fuck.
strategy is. All right, so
Can't
we
say the
fuck
R
up.
word.
Yeah, the R word. Say
Yeah.
R word. Okay, whatever. I'll say fuck a lot.
Take ignition timing and when you go backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I'd fuck up the sound, or like I'd leave the wrong camera on. But typically, sound is the hardest thing to get right. So, Mugen Challenge went pretty well, but of course, the internet died in the middle of like, the A main of Nitro Buggy or something, and
Of course.
just everything. It's a learning exercise every
What
time.
year was that?
So, that was just last year, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I have even recently I did that carpet race for Duffy down in the factory. We had like shitty internet, really bad.
Yeah.
But I recorded all the races, so I was able to, I have different kind of, backup options. Whether I record the races on through the streaming provider or on my camera. But like I say, every time it's a learning exercise. And Motorama went pretty well this year, 25. I think it was probably our best year. I think that's the third year. But they, Motorama, kind of an interesting arrangement because they don't give a shit about streaming.
No.
They got their entry free, and that's all they really care about. So obviously, what the drama. How much drama goes into that part is getting, people get all butter about, "Oh, it's not fair. It sold out in 8 minutes. Wow, I was in front of my computer. Wow, I went to work, yada, yada. So, but, beyond that, they don't care. So I went to, I wouldn't say I know Scotty well, but we know each other pretty well. And I'd reached out to him and I'm like, why didn't I do the streaming, so that we can get some exposure to the event? And it just kind of, again, that snowballed, but they couldn't give a shit. I effectively do it for free, but
Yeah.
it's just gotten bigger and better, and I enjoy it. And obviously having my son Lucas there, really, he's young and enthusiastic, trying to really get into film and media. So he comes in with all these different ideas. So, yeah.
And that's another thing I saw. I think I sent a friend request or not to your son, or after we did the thing. But I saw on his Facebook, like, he was recording, like, pro wrestling matches. Like, there he is with a camera, and then a dude's getting suplexed in front of him. So, like, does your son, like, does he do this, like, all the time, in a sense, the recording video?
It's pretty random. GCW is the brand.
Okay.
It's a kind of amateur circuit. But they're nasty, fucked up, weird guys. I mean, he did one over the weekend. I think it was Friday night. And he just like got covered in like fluorescent bulb tubes and blood. Like it was nasty. People jumping off of all kinds of stupid objects, just flat face down on the stage, just stuffing like darts in their head.
Oh man,
just it's nasty. So, but yeah, he does that. He's down there, right next to the stage there, holding a whole rig on his shoulder, wireless rig. So it's as nasty as it is, and the shitty pay that he gets it's kind of fun, because he gets to be right there in the action, and add some creativity to the process, So it's it's pretty cool.
Before we even dive into the war stuff, Toby, could we talk more into your background? Like, you've been doing this for a long time. Like, how long ago did you first get into RC? what got you into it? What were the very first couple things you started doing with RC, like way back when?
Yeah, I mean, compared to a lot of people, I guess I haven't been doing it a long time, but I think I got back into it like about 2009. But I'd done, I'm old. I'm 54, so probably in '83 when I was about 13, 14, I had I think it was a Hornet. I'd actually gone on to stay with my grandmother, and my cousin was there, and he had a Wild Willie, which is that car there, which is the original Wild Willie, which they never re-released, so they're hard to find in good condition. That actually came from eBay. But he had one of those, and he was driving it around the neighborhood, and I was just like blown away. This thing was so well made and so complex, and it was. I mean, it was a bag of dicks to drive because it's it's a wheelie. It's got like short wheelbase, rolled over all the time. But so I was like completely enamored with that. So I got a Hornet, I think, and we raced the Hornets around the neighborhood. And then I went to, I think, one race in a school car park. I don't even remember if there was any jumps or anything, but this was probably in '83, '84 when I was a kid. And then I moved on, probably puberty and girls and drinking and
The fun stuff.
standard
Hey, man.
shit. But then I think I had a hot shot. If you remember what that car is, it's a four-wheel drive Tamiya. I've always been in love with Tamiya stuff. It's a goofy car with a shock down the center on the rear, and I sold that or traded it in for a friend of mine's BMX. So I had this really cool BMX with it was chrome with big white wheels, and it just whipped around the neighborhood. So that was it until I was, what was I say? So 2009, I would have been, I think, in my late 30s, 39, 38. And it just kind of came back to me, I was like, I would wonder where there's an RC track. So I moved.
Too old
I
to be
moved
riding a
into.
bike around everywhere, all weird like a BMX. And,
Yeah, exactly. But a father of two kids, I don't be running
you
around
need
at
to find something
BMX.
grown up to do.
Yeah, exactly. So we went out to a track up called Dirt Runners, which you may or may not have heard of, up in
Yes.
New Jersey. And in the winter they race on carpet indoors in a church, kind of like Richfield. And that was when the slashes were a big thing. I mean, may or may not been, so they wore these. Went in there with me and the boys. Lucas would have been my oldest would have been maybe 9, 10, and Alec he was born in 2003, so probably 6. So we went in there and we saw these slashes going around, and I was just like, okay, I got to get one of them. I think I probably went home, jumped on Tower Hobbies, ordered that shit right away. I probably had it by the end of the week and was ripping around the yard, and so that's probably where I got back into it. And then it just snowballs like the typical RC guy. I got to have a truck, I got to have a buggy, I got to have two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. I got to go on road. I got to go, yeah, just
When did you get
nuts.
your first nitro car, Toby?
That's a good question.
And which one was it?
I think I probably got started with late model. We used to run, yeah, it was late model. We used to run them up at Dirt Runners on a crazy loose dirt track, but it was a big deal.
Big oval
back
guy.
in the day. Well, maybe not, but it was back then. Trying to remember when that was now. I have a trophy somewhere, a really nice one which I kept. So figure that's probably 2011 maybe, something like that, 2012. I built a late model from the first generation RC8. A friend of mine built like a rear bumper standoff, and I think I used SC8 tower mounts and stuff like that for the body. And then I had a friend of mine broke in a little Nova Rossi, like one of their low end ones, like a P5 or something. And that was my first nitro car. So I had a lot of help from some of the locals. I had a tune. Well, I don't know if I really knew what I was doing. Fire this bitch up, and she'd be fat as all hell, but we would just be on it for 5 minutes, and then they'd come in screaming rich. But that was the first thing I did, and then I think after that I got a Truggy. Mugen,
Okay.
actually, which will pleasing for you, MBX6. So
It's the same thing Davey's running now.
Same thing I have.
which was fun, but you know, I don't know what buggy after that. I think I probably had a Mugen buggy, but yeah, it was like Truggy and E-buggy were probably where I got started in A skill.
All right. That's good. That's good history.
Yeah.
We like to know how old you are, and we like to hear you tell us about it.
Old and slow.
Davey, you got anything to ask or add on?
No, not really.
Taylor, you
I
got
don't know.
any more
It's
bits
kind of
before we
funny.
get
I'm
into
still
the
getting
thing?
used to do.
Leading into like the background of 46RC, for those that are listening to this and don't know 46RC, do you want to say like all the services it provides and stuff like that and things you're open to?
Yeah, I mean this year, or let's say last 6 months has been a kind of exciting sort of growth period, I guess you could say. Every race, like I was saying, I think of new things to spend my money on, but more so just to create, a more enjoyable experience, and I try and think of original things every time. So now we have various kind of like wireless cameras. I just, of course, dump more money into it since, um, I guess, since nationals. Just just higher quality wireless transmitters, that kind of thing. But so service wise, I've tried to, obviously I've done now 3 carpet races, which is quite interesting because I've never really done indoor stuff before. So every race I learned more about, what's needed, but then also I learned that I really undersold myself, on that, because really it takes a lot of work to just stand up all day and follow cars around with a camera. It's really
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, hard on the body when you get older, obviously. But I think cameramen, in elite and all those guys, mod, it's a lot harder, and of course, the internet's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like if you're on a camera and you're not following the guy, then people are online like, "What the fuck? This camera guy sucks." You know what I mean? But they're getting all that for free. They don't even know.
That's me
What
in
I
the
mean?
comments.
Yeah. Follow the leader. What are you doing?
Yeah.
There's a battle over there. Follow those fuckers. So, you kind of got like a bit of a thick skin, but you also want to do the best thing for the viewer too. You know what I mean? So, every race I learn, and I think that's the important part. Is just right now I'm working on the LCRC opener. I'm trying to work on some graphic stuff. I've had some technical issues with some of the things I'm doing, but I've worked through most of them. So really now it's like the softer stuff, graphics and if you look at what Elite's doing and Matt, they're always the guys to set the set the benchmark. So, but I feel like I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near in that ballpark, but I have a chance to at least I mean people are talking about it, the brand, which is really exciting. You know what I mean? Even just left his thing.
Yeah.
Episode 311 he just did. They were talking about me like I was just a regular guy, which was
Nationwide
really cool.
now. Nationwide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Pretty
From a
crazy.
Nothing
scab
like
now nationwide.
yeah, I know, right? Nothing being thrown into the
Yeah.
fire there.
Being kind of like an outdoor guy, and I'd say your home base is at LCRC with all your stuff that's kind of set up there. What challenges did you find when you first went doing the indoor carpet stuff and kind of being on the road, mobile, and all that stuff, Toby?
Yeah, I mean that was really nuts how it all played out, because literally I woke up Friday morning, opened my phone up, and Carl Giordano, a very well known racer and historically in the area, had messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, "Call me."
Yeah, I really want to hear your
like everything that went on through your head through this. So like,
Let's get into all
include
this,
every
yeah.
detail.
Yeah, he's like, call me, and it's like 7 o'clock. I'm making coffee. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I think somebody else messaged me saying, well, yeah, there's something going down and whatever. So I think I called Carl, and he explained the situation, and I saw what was online. Elite had packed up and gone home. So I was like, talked to Carl, and I knew what he was, what he wanted. So I think I reached out to. I talked to my son, woke him up. Of course, he was sleeping. And I'm like, Lucas, can you do this thing? And he's like, well, I got to work, on Saturday, blah, 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 but I can come. I'm like, okay, good. So then I think I reached out to Alex, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Alex.
Well, I'm in the middle of class for work, and I'm like, what the fuck does Toby want? Denied.
Alex, I need you.
Calls
I
me
need you.
again.
It's
I'm like, what the fuck do you want? And he's like, you want to come to the Nats? I'm like, duh.
And he was like, it's like a 5-hour, 6-hour drive. I'm like, okay,
So is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, literally.
The
magic words were, come do this carpet race. And I'm like, that's 6 hours
Yeah.
away. And he said, Roar Carpet Nationals. Done.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
right?
big.
I mean, it's an opportunity I think it was worth the drive.
Oh, well
obviously.
worth it. 100%. And I still
yeah.
appreciate you fucking reaching out. And
Yeah,
at that point, I
I
called
mean,
Davey. I'm like, you want to keep me awake for a whole weekend?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
At which point he texts me, and I'm at work too. And the funny thing is, like, I'm not like. So I did see, I was doing the scroll thing, and I did see that Elite had the issue, and then they packed up and left. And it's like, oh well, that's fucked up. I saw that like the day before or whatever it happened or whatever. So I'm working. I get a buzz. I see my phone, and it's Alex, and it says, "So you want to go do the Carpet Nationals?" And as soon as I saw that message, it like all hit me in the head, like exactly this. It's like, wait a minute, I just read a thing that Elite's packing up and leaving. Don't tell me they called Toby, and then Toby called, son of a bitch. So then, like, I'm in my head, is just completely gone for the rest of the day
Yeah.
at work. I can't like focus at all. I'm like, am I gonna fucking drive, sit with him for 5.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Yeah,
And
it
then
was
he's
it
like,
was
"It's
pretty
the
nuts.
Nats." I'm like, okay, fine.
As soon as
So,
I heard
yeah.
Toby was going to cover it and Alex too was also, I was like so pumped for you guys. I was like, hell
Oh,
yeah.
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 Let's
Thank
go,
you. Yeah,
Toby.
because you texted me and you're like, this is fucking awesome. I'm like, I got no clue what's
Yeah.
going on, but like, we're doing it.
Yeah,
But,
no clue at all.
And then
Me
at
neither,
first I was
me
like,
neither.
I didn't want any rivalry going on between, 46RC, Elite,
yeah.
Lefty and all that stuff. I didn't know if there's going to be any bad blood, but it seemed like everything kind of worked out. Toby, you want to just continue on with that story and lead into that too?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, the same. I mean, I respect Lance and all those guys. I mean, I love those guys. What they do, it blows my mind. So, first thing I did, I don't know if it was the first thing I did, but I talked to the wife.
Right.
Like, yeah, before I called back, I'm like, can I do this thing? And she's like, I'm like, it's a big deal. And she's like, yeah, you should do it. It'll be good exposure, which I was quite surprised to hear because I'd just been out to Richfield the weekend before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, we're doing it. I think I told Alex, and I think
Did that turn out to be one of the sarcastic yeses, and when you got home, you got your ass handed to you, or no?
no, she was like super cool, which I was pleasantly surprised.
Honey,
to
it's
tell her
the
what happened.
Nats.
Yeah, it's the Nats, and these guys are racing around indoors on little cars on carpet. It's really important. But so I spent all day like shedding bricks, like But interestingly, all my stuff was still out in the garage. I hadn't really packed anything away from the previous weekend,
Right.
so I'm like, okay, I have everything that I need, except audio, of course. So anyway, I called Donnie, and I'm like, yeah, I can do the thing, and kind of came up with some prices and things, and he's like, whatever, just get here. So he sends me a picture of this mixer, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I see this mixer, I'm like, I'm gonna plug into that, but I'm gonna have to wing it. So I sat around in the afternoon, procrastinated for a little bit. Like I gotta go. So I drove down to the Guitar Center, which is south of here, and I just kind of went in. Like I need a 100-foot cable, XLR maybe on one end, and mono quarter-inch on the other. So we kind of winged it, bought this long ass cable, threw it in the car, and then drove straight to New Rochelle, which is about an hour and a half. First thing I did when I got in there was like run that cable to try and figure out how to get that working. I knew that was going to be the problem. The rest of it's pretty easy. Got in. Oh, I'll plug in the Ethernet. The plug rips right off from my hand, and I'm like, oh shit.
Ooh.
So I'm in there, you know, um, making Ethernet cables up with shitty crimper that they had. But other than that, I got set up Friday night. I'm glad I went Friday night because I got started real early on Saturday morning, and it went pleasantly well. Really, everything. But quite a different scene than what I'm used to. But it was one thing I thought that was really cool was just the way that the crowd really gets into it. People really
Yeah.
stand around the track. I mean, you saw that 12 scale race. Everyone's there, just like
Oh, it was like every
Yeah.
race too. Like not even just A mains.
Yeah.
Like all day
Yeah.
Sunday, if you weren't working on your car, you were trackside rooting on someone, if not every driver in the race.
Yeah, even like like the first race, a D main or something, everyone went nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so cool. So that was something I'd not experienced before. Because let's face it, us off-road guys, they're like, all right, whatever,
Yeah.
move on next.
Yeah. And even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
then
Kind
you
of thing.
can't compare it because as I know I talked about with other people, like, when we're at LCRC, we're in this field, we can't just walk 10 feet to the track or whatever. So, like, I mean, I've never been in a spot to compare the situations like that, but
Yeah,
seeing it there at On-Road was just completely different from what I thought I'd experience. So,
yeah,
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. but-
exactly.
It seems to me that like since the on-road community is probably a little bit smaller than the off-road community in general, especially the big A scale stuff outside and stuff, it just seems like everybody was a little bit more tighter knit with each other, period. Because like I think most of these guys go to the big indoor races, go to the big on-road races anyway, and they're always seeing each other across the country anyway.
Right.
Like probably most of
Yeah.
these guys are going to be back at Donnie's place for the NYGP kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it felt for some, going in there, it felt like everybody was tighter knit than any off-road thing
Yeah.
and anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Toby, did you have a lot of involvement, like leading up until that, within the on-road carpet car community already?
I mean, I've done some carpet racing over the years. I've been to that facility a few times. Sucked mostly, but really enjoy the experience of on-road. If I had an on-road track, half an hour from my house, I'd be there all winter long. 12 scale is one of my favorite classes. Gets
Why is that?
progressively. I just it's this kind of like the speed. The way the cars kind of handle. I've never really been a fan of touring car. I did buy Durango had a touring car out back in the day, and I
Really?
did buy Yeah, yeah. I
I
can't
didn't
remember what
know
it was
that.
called. Yeah, yeah. They brought out a car. It had a brief existence on the planet.
Obviously.
Yeah. A British driver was on the team. Well known. I think he's Ollie someone. I think he's still.
Pain.
Yeah, maybe still on the scene. Um,
Yeah, Ollie
Probably not
Payne's
running
still
a
around.
Durango. It might be. So yeah, I had that. Probably ran it for 5 minutes. Was like, fuck this. I'm going back to 12 scale. But
Mhm.
it's such a simplistic car, but yeah, it can be just
It's
so.
so painfully complicated and delicate.
Yeah.
And
Yes. You
yeah,
stuff it in the wall once, and it's tweaked as hell.
or you look at a curb or a pipe wrong once, and something's wrong with it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
that like
So
2 minutes, it's awesome. It's like this is the greatest thing ever, and then yeah.
yeah, you chunk a tire or something and forget about it. So
Mhm.
yeah. So I've done a little bit. I like it a lot, but so I kind of knew a little bit about going into it, and now actually, funny enough, since that race, I've been looking online, like, let me just buy the car, let me just buy an automatics. I probably never, I probably never run it, and it'll just cost me a shit ton of money, but I want it.
Yep.
12 scales ain't that much. Probably like 350, 400. That's all.
For like a few pieces of carbon, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then it's
Well, aluminum now.
yeah, but then it's like,
Regular.
okay, I got that. I need all my electronics. Okay, now I got to think about tires. Now I need a tire truer and I need a power supply for
You need a
that.
damn
Ah,
one
see,
cell
this is what
battery.
we learned at the Nats, though. This is what we learned at the Nats. The class called GT12. You run a rubber tire
And
and
you're
it
done.
lasts
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Well, I ran GT12 the last time I was there, and it was great. But that was when we were still on foam tires. But it was, it was a spec tire. You had to true them, a specific, I think, specific diameter.
Diameter. Yep.
But it was, it was spec motor. They'd hand out the motor, spec gearing. All you could do really is battery. That was the only thing you had to really, only advantage you could get was probably battery and not suck. So, that was awesome too. It's fun because you got like nice bodies on there, 17.5, I think it was. So it's it's at more of a sedate speed, and it's not 8 minutes. That's the thing with 12 scale. It's 8 minutes, 8-minute qualifiers, 8-minute mains.
Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
the other thing. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. So at nationals, when we were going all through those 8-minute races, there'd be like, mod 17.5, superstar, and I'd be like, oh, please, let me just get back to touring car 5 minutes.
Me with nitro and electric lower mains. Why are we doing the D main for 15 minutes? Fuck.
Oh, those ones are tough too.
So someone that's not familiar with all these classes, compared to like the 8 scale outdoors, what would be like the e-truggy that pays the bills and the touring car stuff, and then what would be like the nitro buggy that's kind of like the coveted classes?
Mod touring car, mod 12 scale.
Well, yeah, mod
Yeah.
touring car and mod 12th are definitely the two top ones. So it'd be more like, 2-wheel buggy in 10th scale and 4-wheel buggy in 10th scale. Like they're both pretty even. They are the top two. They have world championships for both of those classes. Both of them were in the US this past time around. It was last year in California for the touring car, and then the year before that it was the 12 scale worlds down at Beachline. So those are definitely the top two. And then I guess for like the beginner funster classes, it'd probably be this GT12 class we're talking about, and I guess they call it VTA cars, which we didn't see. I didn't know. I thought we would have seen some of those, but I guess they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, it seems to have
run.
died off a little bit for whatever reason.
Which VTA is
With,
just what, like 21.5 or 25.5 touring car, but with a rubber tire, and then one of like 6
But
specific bodies.
yeah, it's like a specific VTA class rubber tire and a VTA body that actually like looks like a car.
Yeah, it's like
it
a
looks like
Corvette or a
Mustang.
Trans Am or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Would you
pretty
say
cool, but they're goofy.
they're the
Go ahead.
classes to go back and watch if somebody wants to rewatch the footage from that race, Toby?
Yeah, I mean, I would watch A1 of mod 12 scale, which would have been Saturday night, which was absolutely insane. I mean, even the other ones were good. I think Donnie and what was the kid's name? Donnie and Sam Isaacs really were the two guys in all of those mod 12 scales. But for whatever reason, Donnie wasn't in A2, so it wasn't that exciting. Although I think it was Kevin Bear and
I think it was A3. Donnie put on a heck of a drive after having some mess in the beginning and just drove through the whole. It was nuts to watch.
I think that was the
13.5, right?
13.5
Oh, okay,
or
yeah.
17.
Yeah, that was
13.5.
super stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, super stock. I think he started either second or
I think it
on
was second.
pole. And then he got into the leader beginning of the straightaway. And he dropped down to last, and he just drove right through the field. Just
Nuts.
insane.
And like they're already going so fast. Like even like the 13.5 pan cars are already going so fast, and how like Donnie and like Sam Isaac was doing it, and like like the top 3 drivers were all doing it, and pretty much the whole A-main was doing it. Just how they could dive into the corner, no problem, while they're already going a million miles an hour, and go wheel to wheel next to this guy, not touch him, hold the line, and just keep going, and then pass. It's just nuts. Like
Yeah,
It
it
is.
really is. Yeah, Mod was just insane. Like he just, even just being behind the camera, just trying to, when they come in front of me, like it was just, I'm swinging this thing around,
Yeah.
but trying, with 12 scale or, when the track's real close to you, it's like you want to, that's again, another thing I think about is the viewer, you know what I mean? Like,
You
don't
don't want
wanna
to
be
make a
darting.
mistake. Yeah.
yeah, you don't want to be darting the camera all around because it's just like, oh, I don't want to watch that. But, so I'd have an opportunity to pan back to the far side on the right there when the cars are, maybe the touring cars, but, with these guys, I don't even bother touching the zoom button because they go down there and they're coming right back at me as quick as I could even bother, panning on them. But yeah, it's pretty nuts, pretty insane, the speeds. Oh my God.
And I don't know how like you've ever done it at any of the other times you've done media coverage for any other race, but when we were doing it, when you were doing it, and I was just wearing the damn headset, I felt like between me, you, and Lucas being able to follow the cars and then communicate with each other privately, and I thought that worked really awesome. Having 3 sets of eyes on the track. And like I was constantly myself, and I'm sure you were too, up on the stand looking at, the running order. And I don't know, I felt like that worked out really well. I don't think you ever had a problem with who you were following or stuff like that. So
Yeah. No, that was integral part of what we were doing. I mean, your knowledge and observation, and also being a race director as well. Kind of what you're looking at, what's going on. I've gotten better, over the years as having kind of like a second set of eyes. So I'll be following the leader, but I'll somehow be looking over there
yeah,
at second or third or whatever, and I'll know kind of what's going on, and I'll be able to cut back to them fairly seamlessly. And I don't know, it just takes time and learning, but
right.
having you there and guiding Lucas on the second moving camera, but yeah, it worked friggin' purpose, it worked really well.
Then we didn't even I didn't know until they had that issue in the last main with the loop, how it like didn't turn on or whatever. I didn't realize
Yep.
the loop was like 10 feet from the end of the straightaway. Like the cars were so damn fast by the time they came around the track, and you look at the live time screen and it clicks the lap, they're already into like past the sweeper into the first turn. So I'm like, okay, I think the loop's somewhere in the middle of the sweeper. And then in the last main, right in the first 30 seconds, they had an issue with the loop. And yeah, they had to reset the loop and like all this and restart the whole race, like gave a 10-minute break or whatever so everyone could charge their batteries. And then as they're testing the loop, they're like on the end of the straight. I'm like, it's all the way over there? Like
Damn.
Yeah.
Alex,
it's
do you want to
pretty
go into your involvement with this for people that don't know already?
yeah, sure. So like apparently I've been there before, I guess, at this point, the one time. And
Yeah.
so oddly enough, it started at Motorama, I guess. I ended up helping Toby out doing driver interviews for the winners of the C mains and up, which was a very it was an awesome
Not all C mains
experience.
and up.
What was that?
Not all C mains and up though.
No, and not winners. Only Toby and short course track.
Yeah, but comedically the mic wasn't on, so
Yeah,
it's like it never happened.
You didn't interview yourself either, Alex. Come on.
Oh, I know, right? But so anyways, yeah, I ended up helping Toby with that just by chance, pretty much. Krista couldn't make it, and so
She didn't want. She didn't really want to make it. There was some when I was there, Kevin
I was trying to
like,
word it nicely.
Yeah, Kevin was like, "You don't really want to do
Yeah.
this, do you?"
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yeah, somehow my name came up in conversation in their heads, I guess. But what I'm
Yeah,
grateful for it because it was a blast. But
Yeah,
so
yeah,
did
she owes
that.
you.
and then you got the call, and then for some reason I was the first name to pop in your head. Grateful for. Had a blast. I hope to be able to do it more. But yeah, my experience was different from Toby's for sure. We get there Saturday, Davey rode with me. I had to do a whole bunch of shit Saturday because like my whole weekend plan for that weekend was like Lauren wanted to go to Adrenaline, like Lonzo, and then we're going to Mimi's. Now this was the weekend right after Richfield. I already drove.
Uncle Mike was going to Ed's or something.
Yeah, they were going to
with
Ed's.
Chris.
But the weekend before I just drove 3.5 hours out to Richfield and did a day trip with that. And I was like, yeah, I just want to stay home, like not go anywhere, relax, and then freaking Toby calls me, so hell with that. So I'm like, waking up at fucking 4 a.m. helping my dad put a transmission in this tow truck, which like didn't go right anyway, and then I had to go look at a camper, and like compressing my weekend to-do list into like these 4 hours, 5 hours in the morning and during daylight, and then Davey's able to come, so he shows up and we head east.
I had to work, so
Yeah. We get there at we got at the track like right at 9 p.m. at night.
yeah.
And text Toby. He
Except for
comes
me,
and
as
grabs
soon as I
us.
got to Alex's house, I just got out of my truck,
Into my
got
car.
into his car,
Yeah.
and we just drove up. Like
But,
zero plans. We're just driving, staring out the
Yeah.
windshield like Dustin Hoffman and what's her name in The Graduate at the end of the movie, just staring like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
The whole time, Davey and her just like, I can't believe we're doing this. Like,
We're doing this.
but yeah, and like I keep thinking like I don't know, I've never done any off-road stuff or never done any on-road stuff, so like I'm thinking this whole time, I'm like it's roar, it's on-road. I'm thinking all these guys are gonna be like you like up and tight
cereal
and like to themselves and super serial, and like so that's like the picture I'm painting in my head just off of my ignorance essentially. And Toby goes to let us in. Toby's already holding a beer in his hand. I'm like, oh, okay, he's doing the media. He's allowed to have a beer. Like, come on, that's fine. When we walk in,
Toby's holding a beer in his hand. The owner of the track has had a few and is already cursing out the situation.
He's
It's
on
like,
the mic,
all right.
just like
We're good.
having fun. And there's like a community beer cooler that everyone can reach into.
On the cooler.
And then
Yeah.
there's dudes passing out shots. There's dudes practicing. Like, it was just like a big ass pit party, but in this space that's only yay big. So
Yeah.
like, and they're doing raffles, and it was
we
just
like it here.
yeah. And I
We
was
can
like,
do this.
fuck, I need to get beer as a peace offering. So Davey and I ran next door and grabbed a case of Coors,
Across the street to
and I was like, peace offering.
Yeah.
Did
It's
that.
like,
Then
this
you
is
guys-
how we make on-road friends.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And then you guys went out and partied, right?
Yeah. So
so that is
that's the other
I mean,
thing.
do we want that's a whole spiel. See,
That's a whole
I don't
Yeah,
know
spiel.
where'd
if
you
we
go for
wanna
that?
Save that to the end, or I don't know. But
I mean, if we're doing
Okay,
chronologically, this is the point. So
right, okay.
we're walking the hotel. Toby let us stay in his room. I don't know if he regrets that or not, but he let us stay in his room.
Right. So let me say, I'll just say thank you, Toby, for letting me be such a terrible house guest. right off
Don't
of the
worry
bat.
about
This could have been a lot worse, and he could have been a lot angrier. They didn't call the hotel didn't call you or anything afterwards. Right?
No,
But
bill was paid. What they get.
Yeah. So like okay, Alex is coming. Oh, he's bringing the other guy. All right, they'll stay in the room. Whatever. Next thing you know, he's throwing up, and next thing you know, he's clogging the. We'll get into the story. So just carry
here's the
on.
story. So we're walking back. We're going to the hotel. It's bedtime, and Toby's like, "Yeah, it's weird because like in the lobby, I guess it's like a club at night. So the whole time I'm trying to sleep last night, I hear boom, 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 boom."
Oh, yeah.
And-
This guy had the speakers turned up to like 11.5 or 12,
Yeah,
and not in a good way.
yeah.
Honestly, it was not in a
Yeah,
good way.
as soon as you open the glass door for the lobby, all you hear is boom, boom, boom. And Davey and I
Yeah,
just look at
yeah,
each other and
yeah.
laugh. We're like, no fucking way, dude.
And as soon as we walk in, we're like, we're gonna go.
Yeah, we get up to the
Yeah.
room, and I was like, all right, Toby, you want to come with? He's like, no, I need to sleep. I'm like, all right. When do we got to
Eerily
be up? And
similar
he's
to
like,
our
well,
first
races
order
start at
on
9 or
experience.
whatever. And, okay. Then Davey and I go downstairs.
Thanks, Dad.
Downstairs is all boom, 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 boom. We grab a couple beers, and then here's this whole group of people wearing X-ray shirts.
Yeah, a whole group of ended up being Canadian X-ray guys.
Yeah, every one of them was Canadian, and like we just
and they were all trying to hit on all the girls in the bar too.
it was hilarious.
Uh,
It was, and we just drank with them all night. It was so like,
Yep.
I remember asking the one dude, I'm like yelling, because we're in a club. I'm like, so
Yeah.
in on-road, you guys don't bump? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, and you're cool with that? He's like, yeah. I said, that's fucking
Why?
weird.
Yeah, why would they want to not bump?
just the way it is.
Just how they do
I
it.
guess
Yeah.
it's more like and it's not philosophical what I'm saying. I don't know. It makes you. I would imagine it makes you feel more in your place. Like
Okay.
we all qualify and resort every round or whatever, and we end up qualifying where we qualify. But I think the whole thing about bumping, and which could lead to whole different topics about creating new classes, intermediate and pro and expert and 40 plus and all this jazz, which could be a different podcast entirely. But you qualify where you qualify, and you're in your race.
Mhm.
So basically, anything above you, you forget about. I'm here to win my race.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good because when you bump, you think, oh, it's a nice reward. You bump if you win or whatever. It's like, okay, so you think that's really cool. But then if you start doing, if that's all you know, which, for us off-road guys, me, Alex, maybe Taylor, that's all we know. We don't think of it as a reward. We think of it as an open door. It's like, okay, I got to get through that open door before all these other idiots do. Okay, and
Yeah,
now there's another
winning
door.
a B
Oh,
or C
now there's
main
another
means
door.
nothing.
I need to be up there. Like I see up there. I need to be. Yeah, it creates a different. I think it creates a different mindset. Maybe especially if that's all you know. And frankly, to get off the tangent, maybe that's something we should get back into in a way, or at least a mindset that bumping is a reward, not it's a privilege, not a right,
Mm.
in a way. So
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's something they do in. I can't say if all races is good. What do I know? But I've raced over there a couple of times, and that's off road. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? You race where you qualified, and typically you qualify with people who are your speed,
mhm.
and you only
Mhm.
race, and then you know where you finished, and then next time around you'll know, okay, I need to do better. I need to be with these guys. I need to do this pace to get from the C sort to the P sort. And people are happy with that. They come back, no problem. So I think it's not terrible at all.
No, it definitely makes sense. Like when you like when we really dissect it, because like we always want to get to the A, but we never really think about the short term goal of just winning the damn race you qualified for.
Right.
So it's just
Right.
something weird that was implanted in
Like-
our heads at some point of us
like,
doing this
I'm-
off road thing.
Yeah, like I'm still really upset because I did not bump in my e-buggy main at Motorama. I qualified in a bump spot. It's like, okay, all you got to do is stay here. Didn't do that. Pissed off. I bumped in the the short course. Think I'd be happy about that? It's like, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get pissed off because I didn't, bump in the other thing. And I'm like, I remember the last time I was at Motorama, I was in the A main actually. Oh, da, 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 da. So it's like, so yeah, it's up here. Doesn't
Yeah,
work
agreed.
right.
It's more psychological thing. You know what I mean? Like you're driven by
Yeah.
a different end. So if you were
Yeah.
just you were in that B main and you were just racing for the
Well,
win,
actually, it was the C main this year. So
whatever. C
all I
main,
had to do was finish in the top
C
whatever
main.
three they were bumping. And then at that point I would have been happy. I would have been able to like, okay, I was an A main last time. Doesn't matter. That was 4 years ago. Whatever. It's like at least I bumped. Like the bumping is what I want to do. It's like, okay, just race one more time. But no, choke, didn't do that. Butt hurt whole way home. Alex knows all about it.
Sulking.
Yep.
Another
gotta
long ride home, just staring out the windshield.
Yep.
I've got a good meme for that.
Do I have that one already?
I don't know. I'll send it to you if you don't.
Let's
Can
circle
we put it
back.
up somehow? I don't even know.
Bring the train back around to the Roar race before we get too off topic. What were we even talking about with it? Oh, partying with X-ray dudes.
We were doing the chronological story. We were hanging out with the Canadians at the club.
Yes.
How did your head end up in a toilet?
My head didn't.
Okay.
So anyways, we're partying. It's like fucking, and that was also the night the clock sprang ahead, right? So like 1 a.m. it became 3 a.m. or whatever.
So we don't know if we got back to the room at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or 4 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know.
idea.
But I don't know. It's just like the club was dying, and the X-ray dudes stayed there longer than we did. And Davey made the comment.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
like, "I bet none of these guys are in the A main tomorrow. That's why they're partying." Then like I started to ask them. They're like, "No, we're on the A main." I was like, "Dude, I can't imagine off-road X-ray drivers doing this shit."
Kevin was upstairs snoozing.
No.
Everybody. Yeah.
But so yeah, they were awesome. They were very welcoming. We asked them a shit ton of questions about on-road. They were super cool, and they were asking stuff about off-road. The one guy even raced a scale up in Canada, you know. But I went to pay the tab. I think we had like 10 beers total. Found out it was stadium pricing for beer, so I paid $120 for 10 Coors Lights. That was a shock. But I went up to Davey. I was like, "Hey, Davey, remember I said I was going to pay you to ride with me? Here's the tab. Want to call it even?" So yeah, that's fine. But
Pretty savage. And weren't all those guys called Sam Isaacs?
no, Sam Isaac was not with us.
Yeah. They introduced
Yeah.
themselves all.
Yeah,
like,
they
one of
were all.
these
Oh, that's the
guys
other
did.
thing. I was
He's
telling
like, "My
Toby
name's
about
Sam
that.
Isaac." I'm like, I don't know who that is, but
Yeah.
I know that isn't you.
Yeah. They were all
Like, I've
Sam
heard the
Isaac.
name, but I know that's
Yeah,
not you.
that's right.
And then he
That's
looked at his X-ray shirt and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Dakota Fenn."
I know that guy.
Yeah, it's like, see,
But yeah,
Nice.
right.
get back to the hotel room. Davey and I are spooning naturally, and then
Okay, well,
I woke up.
So-
Davey didn't just fall asleep and wake up.
I guess in a way, I naturally have to take over the story.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
No, it's your turn.
Here it goes. So, it was last call. They called for last call, and I was like, I'm gonna be smart. Yeah, I'm gonna be smart. I need a water. So I go get myself a water for last call. She gives me a glass of water. I'm starting to drink it or whatever. Then everybody starts leaving. We're leaving. And for whatever reason, nobody yells at you, at least, for walking out with a drink.
Yeah.
Whatever. In the rest of the hotel. So I have that glass, which keep in mind for later of the story. So we waddle our ways into the elevator, go upstairs, and into the room or whatever. And we lie down, start to fall asleep or whatever. And I don't know how long I was laying there for until things had to happen. Okay. So you get up, you're fumbling through the dark,
Trying not to
shuffling your
wake
feet,
Toby
trying
up.
not to stub your toe, trying not to wake anybody up. He's got the white noise of the Looney Tunes jungle noises happening so he can sleep, and I'm just trying to shuffle my way through into the bathroom. And so you get in there, close the door, turn on the light, and you're standing over the toilet like, oh god, here we go. Nothing was coming for a minute, so you stand up, you turn around. I end up turning into the sink, looking at myself in the mirror, having these thoughts. It's like, he invited you here, you came, and it's like you're being such a terrible house guest, and thinking to myself, you son of a. So I end up yakking all in the sink, and I'm like, oh crap. And basically, the gyro we had for dinner is now all in the sink. So I'm like, oh crap. So I turn the water on in the sink. It's like, let me try and dilute this so it goes down, right? Right?
It didn't.
Any minute now. It can go down. No. It's filling up and up. I'm like, oh, well, this sink, at least it has the safety holes, right? Where if it fills up, it drains down those safety holes. No,
Didn't work.
nothing. So now I'm standing there going, and then it hits me, ding, I brought the glass up with me. And I'm like, am I really going to have to do this?
Oh dear.
Yep, I'm really going to have to do this. So, open up the door, shuffle back out. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? There it is. Shuffle back in, close the door.
Yeah, I get it.
I didn't hear about this part.
I don't know if you did want to.
And honestly, I think at one point, one of you guys, like, not like sleepwalking, but like got up to, you must have had to take a piss because I heard the doorknob chatter, and I just kind of like stared at it.
I think that was me.
And it went away, and I'm like, oh crap. There I am, just bailing out the sink. And it's like this shallow sink, and I'm using this chunky glass, and it's just like I might as well have had a tablespoon. Like it was not working. Like I'm like, fuck, and then I'm like, oh, is it gonna happen again? Okay, just for I don't know how long. I felt like I was in there forever, and then I'm like staring at it and like taking toilet paper and another one of the things and just trying to soak up all the stuff. I'm like, oh god, this thing's gonna kill me. I had to wash my hands in the bathtub because it's like, well, I can't use the sink, it's clogged. So yeah, that wasn't fun. And then I finally get all that done, shuffle my way back into bed and just lie back in bed like, oh god, eventually fall asleep. Next thing I know, I'm getting kicked awake and the bed's getting kicked, and it's like, and Alex was like, did you throw up in the sink? And I'm like, And at that point, the rest of Sunday, I was either in the car sleeping or up underneath. I don't know if Donnie's watching this, yakking. At which point, the pile of puke by the fence with the French fries on it was not me. Was already there. It looked like it was there for 2 days already. I was in the other pile on the cardboard by the shopping cart. So yeah, as much fun as it was like, we were hanging out with the X-ray guys the night before, and they're like, "Yeah, come on and hang out with us next time." Like this, because the one guy actually has that RC Maker car. I don't know if any of you guys know, with the sideways shocks, and it's like, "Oh, that's sweet. I want to come see it." And it's like, "Yeah, sure, come on." And yeah, was not in any capacity to do any of that. Also wasn't in any capacity. Thankfully, you guys, Toby, you and Alec didn't need anything else, because I would have been willing to help, but was not in any capacity to help if anything needed done. So yeah, again, thank you for letting me be such a terrible hotel guest.
It was. I figured you were suffering on Sunday, but
Oh yeah, like I was just standing there with that sandwich. I took one bite and they're like,
yeah,
nope.
that's been
And
there,
it
done
was
that
like,
many a
yeah.
time.
It was funny.
It's not
I was
pretty.
like,
It was very.
What I've
Yeah, I
learned is
went-
the X-ray guys can party a whole lot harder than Davey.
Yeah.
well, that's not exactly an achievement, but like, beer's not my drink, and I already think not only was I drinking something I don't drink, I also drank more than I normally do. I don't know how.
Yeah, you passed your level of 2 and you drank 4.
No, my level is 4, and I'm pretty sure I had more than 4 because I had at least 2 at the track.
Well, yeah, if you count the track beers. I didn't count those.
Yeah, so that was the same night. Yeah, so yeah.
But yeah, so Davey was incapacitated all day. So he did go and get us food and beverage a couple times. Very appreciative of that.
Mhm.
And then Toby ordered us pizza. One point, very appreciative of the pizza.
And
It's
I
very
didn't even
delicious
know that.
pizza.
I was
Yeah, you were
sleeping.
Yeah.
one or the other. I don't know. But yeah.
Mhm.
On my end, Sunday was super, super smooth. I mean, Toby gave me this hat and gave me a shirt and said, "All right, kid, you've been here before,
Staying
the
here,
one
and
time,
here's Mike's.
Yeah, here's Mike's." And I loved having the mics just bantering with you, Toby, like just talking shit on this
Yeah, every
private
time
channel.
He was.
Yeah,
Alex
that
was
was
like
fun.
laughing to himself. It's like, oh, they're saying something funny.
I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
that was some fun
GT12 is
shit.
cool, but this is putting me to sleep. It's kind of slow." Or like, we were saying other stuff I don't want to say publicly, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
oh, and like
Talks
the
just
one.
as much shit while he's racing 8 scale. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Even still unfocused, he's still talking shit the whole time.
The one point when I was doing interviews, we went 2 mics to 1 mic to 2 mics, because like you had the 2 mics, and I'm like, well, it's way easier if they can hold a mic and I can hold a mic and I don't got to do this number. So like the first couple went fucking great. The guy knew to talk into the mic, and then like there was this one guy, he came up, he won like a B main, And he like, I hand him the mic. I'm like, here's your interview. Let's
like,
go do it. And he
over
like,
here.
yeah, he's like holding it over here. And then like I'm mid interview, and then Toby's in the headset, and Toby's like, get him to hold his mic closer. And I like kind of like nudged him a little bit, and he like just went from here to like
I didn't want
here.
to do it.
And then Toby was like, shove that fucking mic down his throat. And then I just like took my mic. And then there was this other guy. He came over, and I handed him the mic. And then like, so like, it was a wall with like, you know, this on the wall, and that's what the camera was pointing at. So the camera's here, wall here. Here's Mr. Man that just won. You know, he looks at the camera, then turns around to face the wall, and then just starts interviewing himself. And he's like, yeah, it was a pretty good main. And like, the whole time we're not even like on camera yet. So I'm like, hang on. Stand here, turn around, take this, wait. All right, how was it? But it was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then when you get the guys, the C main, the B main guys who just didn't want to stop talking.
Oh
right?
yeah.
I mean, Raw, you know, did not give a shit about, you know, other than running their race. But whatever, I don't have any qualms with them. But they were like, you know, boom, boom, boom. Now, yeah, interviewing was easy in A1s because they did the whole driver introduction. So
We had the
to do that.
time.
But then, everything else, it was just like, you know, the drivers would come off a driver stand and they go over and they sort of debrief with their friends and do whatever. In the meantime, Raw would like, you know, top 3 come to tech. Eventually they'd make their way over the tech. While they were doing that, the other guys were getting set up. So then we had like a tiny window, 1, to find the guy we wanted to interview, and then 2, to interview him and then get him at the marshal before the next race would start. So that was tricky. We cut a few guys off. A few guys were like in mid spiel.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I gotta go.
Yep. Yeah.
Turn
The
them
whole
off.
time this guy's like, I'm like, how was your race? And he's like, well, I was born on a cold winter night back in '87, and I started racing when I was 16. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then Toby's just like, you got to wrap it up. And I'm just like looking at the guy like, you know. And then Toby's like, all right, we're done recording you. And then this guy just keeps talking for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, I can't like tell the dude, hey, all that was worthless. Like,
Marshall, go Marshall.
yeah. So I'm just like
But that's-
pretending that he's still getting recorded, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and there was that other guy, like the mic wasn't working, or at least I thought the mic wasn't working, but whatever. But that's the things, you know, going back to what I was saying, like you learn when, you know, how to solve that problem. So, you know, Lucas came up to me, he's like, why don't you put, you know, pop it up to picture in picture and then go back to the main race. And then that way they can still keep interviewing, you know, just up here. And I can.
And then you can still follow the cars
race.
down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that way, you know, they get to talk whatever, and you know, everyone can see what the action's going on. So I've already programmed that on my side. So you know, I mean, it's not really a problem for off-road usually.
Awesome.
You know, there's always a lot of bullshit going on, but you know, again, just one of those things you learn, you know, and then just try and improve for the next time.
Yeah. And I will say something really satisfying on my end of doing the interview is like there was that one guy you knew, Toby. He won his A1 and A2. I forget who it was, but you like half knew him or whatever, and you like I think you like
Probably AJ.
yeah. And
AJ.
like when I went to do his interview, like when I went to hand him the mic, he like just like gave me a hug. He was so excited, and started doing his interview, and he had like 5 of his buddies behind him, like, you know, holding cameras, and like I was like, yeah, you got your cheering squad here, and all these guys were like, woo, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
They were
it's a
just
good
so
vibe.
excited, and he was like, how stoked he was winning this title, like as he should have been, you know. It was just very cool to see how stoked he was. And then that that other, I hate to call him a kid, but I really don't think he was older than 18. But
Yeah.
he couldn't do
Yeah.
his first interview because he had to go get his car ready or something. But then when we had time, I went and grabbed him and did another one. And like the whole time, like mom and dad and grandma and grandpa are behind like recording, and they're like fucking loving it. And, like that was just
Yeah, it was
real satisfying to be a part of that. But,
Absolutely.
so yeah, that's
For
and
sure.
Then we drove home.
Yep.
Toby,
Yep.
you want to give your like brief synopsis recap of how you think everything went for the Roar?
I mean, you know, I don't want to blow blow my own trumpet, but considering, I got the call Friday morning, and we packed up and rolled out there Sunday night. I'm like, I don't think it could have gone any better. I mean, I got there, Friday at 8:30, got everything set up, left the track at 12, went to my room, spent 2 hours working on all the logos, getting the OBS stuff all ready to go, and then you know, it's long hours. Like I was saying, it's a ton of work, but I had a blast. Feedback was great. Everyone at the track was so appreciative, which was it felt really good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just doing something, like that for the racers and the community, albeit a small community, and probably everyone was watching DNC that weekend, I think. But
Yeah.
I had both up on my computer at work.
yeah. What was interesting is that I learned something else about the streaming side of things. So Raw wanted to stream on their platforms, so their Facebook, their YouTube, and I wanted to do the same on mine, but I couldn't. Do theirs from the way that I have mine set up. So we had to figure out this kind of peering relationship with our streaming uh, application that we use. So, but I couldn't see the viewership on their side. I could only see the viewership on mine. So obviously, I'm not particularly well exposed compared to Raw. So I don't know overall how much reach it actually had, but I think it did. Within the community, which again is, like I said, it's pretty small. But I think people really want to see on-road racing at
Yeah.
that level. So
Yeah, I
it
think
was cool.
the people that were watching DNC probably weren't going to watch Carpet Nats anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah, like Taylor, and
No,
maybe
yeah.
you can say, like, if Toby wasn't there doing this and it was still Elite or whoever, that you might not even tuned in yourself,
That's 100% correct. I have both up on my work computer on one of the monitors, and I was listening to DNC, but when I saw Alex come up to do some interviews, I'd unmute and then listen to Alex and see what you guys had to say and see what was going on. So I was watching both, but obviously I was a little bit more focused with DNC just because that's
That's our
the
thing.
involvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I was watching the Roar Nats out of support for you and Toby.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
But yeah, Toby, you definitely did a hell of a thing, pulling it all together so fast. Even when I go back and I rewatched a couple of the races because it was just sweet. And
We would never have known he just got the call.
No.
Everything looked like he was doing it how he would do it anyway.
and like all the pictures Lucas posted that he walked around taking, like,
Yeah.
I think y'all fucking killed it for media coverage. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you want? Like,
Yeah, what do you want
know.
for the night before?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I only fucked up once, and I think that was on Saturday afternoon, and I unplugged something I shouldn't have done, and it cut the stream off. But that was still, I think, in Q3, so we hadn't actually got to the mains yet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I mean, considering how the number of things that could have gone wrong, I was pretty blown away how well it went. So, I'm happy for everybody, people who got to enjoy it and see it, considering they may have just seen a fixed camera all weekend. So, yeah, cool. Feel good.
good, yeah.
What's
Lefty
in the
needs to
future,
give you
then?
more flowers on that deal.
You what?
Lefty needs to give you
wanted to
more
ask-
flowers on that deal. But yeah, as we talk, like, and I really think, I hate to say no one cared, but I think just like pretty much everyone in like the RC community as a whole, like, understood the situation that happened with Elite and Roar and everything, and then understood where you fell in place, and everyone, like, no one had hard feelings about anything in that sense. Like, they were just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, they aren't doing it, someone has to do it. Here's 46 RC, and they're doing a killer job. And
Yeah, right place, right time.
yeah, and I know, like,
It's like
from
backup
hearing people in the
quarterbacking, you
pits,
just need your break, man.
Yeah. From hearing people in the pits and people even just walking up to me, thanking me for, coming to do this. And I'm like, that's not me. This is all Toby. This is Toby's thing. Go thank him, But everyone was super appreciative of you answering the call and pulling so much out of your ass,
No, I'm appreciative, of being able to pull you in and Lucas in. It's a good team effort. So,
Yeah.
I'm hoping we could do that again. I mean, it takes more than one to do that kind of production. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah.
the way I've always set up at LCRC was trying to do everything myself because, I'm just me. I don't expect to have other people. Plus, out there, I'm not. I mean, Kevin and Krista give me so many things, outside of that. It makes it just a pleasure to do. You know what I mean? So, I don't ask for anything. I don't want anything. I just do it because I love those guys and I love racing out there. I rarely race anywhere else now because I just love those 4-day weekends, and not adulting for a few days.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Lost my train of thought, but whatever. I'm gonna go get a
What's in the
drink.
future?
Is that cool?
Oh,
You
yeah,
mind if I go get
you
a
did
drink?
that.
Well,
Stay there and talk.
well, I gotta take a leak, and I got this fancy new commercial here, because
What?
All right.
we actually
Good
picked
timing,
up a
too.
sponsor today.
Yeah, congrats.
So, thank you, ACS Hobbies. None of Davey's not wearing the hat. I'm not wearing the hat. ACS Hobbies in
Shit, I didn't know.
Monroeville. Tony provided us with a commercial. He's always helped us out with some equipment and helping with just OBS and Discord and everything. So
Yeah, a lot of BS. Yes.
yeah. So I'm gonna click on the commercial. We'll do our business, and whenever we circumvene, then we'll just get back to what we're doing. So here it is.
All right.
So, how do you hobby? At ACS Hobbies, we've got everything to fuel your passion and spark your creativity. Whether you're into RC cars, model trains, boats, or planes, we have a huge selection of kits, parts, and accessories. Need paints or tools? We've got you covered. Test your skills on our RC crawler course or race on our oval track. There's always something fun to do. Plus, discover an awesome range of games for all ages. ACS Hobbies is your ultimate destination for hobby enthusiasts. Visit us today and start building your next adventure.
Your intro that you drank beer and do crazy shit. So I'm like, all right, I'll
Yeah, we do
some
pound
vodka
beers.
down there.
We do tend to pound beers.
Hey,
I tend to
Yeah.
pound beers at least.
no shame in that.
Well, Davey, you probably not because you wake up early to work.
Yeah, no, this is just agua.
Yeah, Taylor's on call, so
Energy drinks and protein shakes.
Crazy guy.
well, we got anything more to talk about with the Nats? I think I'm pretty much
I got like a couple more things I wanted to ask Toby about 46 RC, then
yeah.
go off topic.
yeah.
So Toby,
Are
what
we
do you guys
live
have?
again?
Yeah, are we?
What?
Are we live?
Are we live?
Yeah,
again?
we are live.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We're
What do you
back.
got planned for the future of 46 RC then? What do you see of this coming season and then possibly after that?
Like I said, I'm working on trying to work on some of the graphic stuff to kind of improve it or get it like the way I want it. And then I have 3 potential events outside of the 7 LCRC races, which would be kind of cool. One is on-road, and another one is off-road outdoors, and the third one is one of the big trains and lanes races. So talked to Brian about doing the Kyosho Classic down there. So that would be kind of cool, something different. I got to work out some internet issues over there. I have an idea in my back pocket for that. So, and then wherever it goes from there,
If you you need an announcer for anything, or I know a guy.
yeah, or an interview guy. I know a guy.
Are you
got
going to
your
be
number.
racing at the Kyosho Classic as well?
I might. You know,
Okay.
I might just.
You should. I mean,
I,
it may only make sense.
I have a K car, so you
Yeah.
know, but I have a K car for that track because it's like, you know, it's pretty brutal. So I got my 2 cars. I got my
That's
one
trains?
for trains and lanes, and then one for LCRC, which is the
So I
shiny
pretty much
thing.
have to go so I can pit you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
Well, then who's gonna pit
But
you,
now you got
Taylor?
a nitro car. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, fuck that whole system up.
It's just
Pit-
one's gonna have to run off the stand to pit one guy, and the other guy's to run off the stand next to pit him. And
And then my
Well-
guy's in the booth apparently now.
Yeah,
so
your
I don't
guy's
know
in the
what hell
fucking
I'm gonna
booth.
do. It's like, great, you know.
I planned on going to the Kyosha Classic anyways, pretty much, and then I'm not sure if Lutz needs a pit guy, because his main pit guy will be coming back, moving.
Oh, Will's coming?
Yeah, Will's moving. Ryan, I was talking to Ryan. Ryan said Will's moving to like within 6 or 10 minutes of LCRC.
Yeah, he's just up the road. I've seen where he lives.
Yeah.
So he's right there.
Yeah, so I don't.
Oh, that's
They'll be together more often. Ryan was saying so.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, he kind of disappeared for a while there.
And then, so what I'm going to need you to do, Toby, at LCRC is to kick Ryan's ass so that I can show Ryan, you know, he's really missing out. I'm just
There you
joking.
go.
And then,
I got to make Will look bad.
so somebody that's interested in, you know, contacting you or 46RC for events or anything like that, how would they go about that, Toby?
Good question. They could either just hit me up on Facebook or I don't spend a ton of time on you know, having kind of a web page, but I have a WordPress page which I use to publish some stuff on there. So you can get me through there. It's 46rc.wordpress.com. So yeah, but Facebook's probably the easiest thing. Either hit me up on my personal message or go there.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, I've learned from this carpet race about how, you know, I've kind of undersold myself a little bit, you know. So I've tried to work on a couple of things this winter, you know, how to like provide, you know, tiered services for people, you know. So like, you know, if you get
Yes.
this, you know, like a bronze, silver, gold thing, you know what I mean? You pay for bronze, you get XYZ. You pay for gold, you get all these things and all the frills. You know,
When a la
so
carte, that's more expensive. So.
yeah, exactly. Because you know, like there's a lot of like for Motorama. I mean, obviously you're not making any money out of the actual event. I was grateful to have like 6 sponsors, which you know makes up for all of the work. But you know, there's a lot of for Motorama. I did a shit ton of work ahead of time. You know, both just prepping all the on-screen graphics, but then you know, I switched over from a Windows device to a Mac device because I'm a Mac guy anyway. So I took some risks there, you know, kind of transforming my kind of operations to Mac. But I was able to do some practice runs with trains and lanes, and then you know for Duffy's race. So I was pretty confident that that will be good, and it turned out it was like 100% stable. So, but there's you know there's pre-work, a lot of pre-work and post-work. So I don't really factor that into the cost, but it you know I kind of have to some respect, you know, because it's time, time and money, and really if you know no one's making much money in this hobby, right? So I can't just say, oh, you know, it's going to be $2,000 a day or something, right? No one wants to fucking pay that.
No.
So I have to got to find some balance where you know my time is better than minimum wage, but it's also not, you know, I'm not like cameraman for like Formula One or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that because that was one of the conversations I think you, I, and Krista were having late at night where you were underselling yourself way too much. So, you know,
Yeah, she's
as
always
much as-
beating me up on that.
yeah.
And I feel
Somebody
like
has
that's hard to
sometimes she is.
gauge. It's like hard to gauge.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I feel that. Like, I feel your shoes. Like, with the whole announcing thing. Because, like, you don't really know what other people charge. Because everyone, like, respectively doesn't talk about that bit besides, like, the person getting paid and the person that's paying. You know? So you're like, well, like, what do I charge? And, like, so it's weird. And you don't really know until you do it. and then you do
Right.
something that like you work really hard and you put a lot of time in, you have like a lot of expenses, and you're like, okay, well, I only broke even for doing this thing. And if you like break it down hourly, and you're like, well, I'm like, like I didn't lose money, but like fuck, like that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
That
worked my
equipment's
butt
not
off
cheap
for
either.
nothing. No, it isn't for
Yeah.
sure.
You want to mention about the waffles and how that kind of offsets some of the costs too, Toby, for those that aren't paying attention. Some probably just assume that you're pocketing some of this money. Obviously, I'm kind of there seeing on the back end where all the money goes for the people that don't understand all that.
Yeah, I mean, for like Motorama, I mean, again, it's more work, right? I got to solicit all these vendors. Now I'm grateful that from last year, I already had some people who wanted to kind of invest in what I was doing. So, I was able to get a couple of kits, so I had like 5 or 6 sponsors who, really wanted to get the exposure. So, you know, uh, yeah, that's, kind of like for those kind of events, you're getting paid. But I know a lot of the, mod and, elite, that's what they do to help make up their gap between what they charge and what they're actually going to have to, what their expenses are. For me, it's really all covering my expenses. But I'm super grateful, for the guys from Techno, J Concepts, and ML Toys, and Nitro Caddy, and probably blanking out a couple of other people, which I don't mean to, but it's goes a long way. I enjoy representing them, and it drives me to to do a better job and make sure they all get representation that they need.
So even though you're getting it back, you need to add more on top now again to just keep the level. It's just like
you
Mhm.
just keep recycling to keep
Yeah,
getting better. It's
effort, reward, effort, reward.
Yeah.
It's just
absolutely.
just
everything.
trying to stay in the black here.
Everything gets better, but then it gets harder, but it gets better, but it gets harder. Fuck.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. The better it gets, the harder
Yeah.
it gets.
And the whole time you're like, this 9 to 5 thing sucks. Like, I just want to quit that, and because I could make this so much better if I wasn't doing that.
Right.
Then you're like,
Yeah,
how do I make this make enough money as that, so then I can.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never get to that level, but
Well, not with
but
that
I,
attitude.
no, fuck that shit. But I work in IT, so I mean, I wouldn't say anyone's getting 20 years ago when I got into it, there was money to be made, and not so much now. But I'm like almost over the hill, and that stuff. But I've been in the same job for a while now. I'm super grateful to have that job, and it affords me to do a lot of things, outside of that. So
Yeah.
so this is kind of a hobby, but it's becoming more involved now. But I'm okay with it,
Well, I mean, it could be like, I mean, I don't know how far you are from retiring. You're a hell of a lot closer than I am, but like, even if you just keep doing it and you keep wanting to do it, it could be a great retirement gig. Per se,
Yeah, I always thought about it. You know what I mean? Like I love racing, and and everything. And I've really narrowed it down to certain classes and certain events, and but it's going to get to a point where it's like kind of an effort.
Yeah.
Where, I'm just busy hitting pipes and flaming out. But this is a great fallback. It's not easy, but it's keep me going, keep me involved in the hobby, and
Mhm.
trying to make it better. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Taylor, you got any more questions?
No, I don't have any more for 46 RC.
I got
That's
one.
it.
Do you have a dream race? Like, it could be your hypothetical fucking super sleepy time dream, but do you have a dream race that if all the stars aligned, you would love to cover?
that is a good question.
RCGP if it came back.
Fuck
Is
yeah!
that
I mean,
hypothetical? Yeah.
I'm all about
What do you think?
RCGP, but
Oh,
I like
yeah.
yeah. I mean, RCGP is my absolute favorite. event series. I know David Isherwood who did the event. Awesome guy, obviously he's a Brit, so he's even better. But what they were trying to achieve is insurmountable in this hobby.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much apathy. People just don't want to. They just want to do the same shit all the time, every day. So yeah, absolutely, I'd love to cover that. But then again, RCTV, amazing group of guys out in the UK. I don't know if you guys have followed they started doing like this RCTV news thing. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen it on
Yeah,
Yep.
I really enjoy it. I'm glad that they're
It's
getting
it's
popular with
fucking
that.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It
can
just
tell, like, from the first episode, it felt like kind of awkward. It's like, man, we gotta figure out some kind of content to put out to these people, and then everyone started liking it. So now, like, you can see their confidence in the videos, and they're just getting better and better.
yeah, it's just like very satirical news, blah 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 blah, boom boom boom. They're in and out in like 30 minutes, if that. But
Where's Scotty?
Matt,
Oh, he's at Motorama.
yeah. I was talking to Scotty when he was at Motorama because he's like, yeah, he'd been working with Matt and they want him to do this and blah blah blah. So yeah, they're good guys. I met Matt and Nick out at RCGP. So I guess that, and then Tilt Yard would be something. Tilt Yard Worlds in August, which is something I may be able to do. Would love to do because Tilt Yard's a big event in the Northeast. If I can do that, that would be cool too.
I know.
We're going to Tilt Yard this year. It's on the calendar. A whole bunch of us. Me, Yoder, Alex is talking about it. We're definitely doing a Tilt Yard event, and I'm
I
trying to
know
get Kevin to go too.
Sean Duffy I was texting him. He was planning the Tilted Worlds in August. It's like the first weekend in August. And
Yep.
I know that's a weekend race, but that weekend works for me, So I don't know how the rest of the party feels about it, but
yeah, I don't know the dates yet, but that week or two in beginning of August is going to be like stupid busy.
Yeah.
Because the Dream Race LCRC is like the 2nd and 3rd, I think, of August. And
oh,
then
I think the Dream Race is the same weekend as
So
Tilted
you haven't
Worlds.
been hired to do that, Alex? You're not doing the dream?
Oh.
Or whatever. Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
might
not
be
sure
going to
yet.
the Tilt Yard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they want to do coverage-wise either. But
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out in time.
First priority. Yeah, first priority for me, obviously. And then a week after that is Kyosho Classic. So
Yeah. I'd love to announce the Dream Race. I love announcing oval, so that'd be awesome, having a super massive oval race.
Yeah, did you see the last week's happy hour? What they're gonna do?
Yeah, they're flattening the bank.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a good idea.
La,
Yeah.
la, 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 la. I didn't watch it. No.
yeah. Now what they're doing is typical Kevin and Krista. They always have like an amazing plans. And they're gonna just flatten that whole area out and make it more pitting area. It's gonna be awesome.
No, I think it's in their best interest to do that. Like all the points they already made, how just flat track dirt oval is what's around here. And although this banked oval is sick, I think it's more tailored to like the 8th scale nitros and the 5th scales because it's pretty big, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
But then like the 10th scale sprint cars and the midgets, and it's almost too big.
It occurred to me in my head that they even run those out there. When I think of LCRC, I think of 8 scale things and running on the oval, the mug and challenge when Drake and everybody are over there doing it for like shits and giggles with all the nitro cars. That's what I think about. That's what I thought they did out there, but apparently they run the little cars too. I didn't even know.
Yeah, like Mud Boss and everything. 10 scale 8 model.
Yeah, after listening to them on replay, I normally asleep at like 8 o'clock on the sofa, so I never get to tune into their podcast.
At the record show, it's
but I always watch it.
9:43 on a Sunday, and Toby's
Yeah,
awake.
you guys are fucking killing me right now. But,
We talk shit on
we
you
had him
in the
break into
comments
his
because I know
backup
you're
bottle of
sleeping.
Jameson.
but the next, like after the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build a late model now, and I got my backup car. I'm like, okay, I need towers for here and here, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I thinking? I'm not doing this again. So
you gotta.
I've got.
You gotta get in on our.
body
Oh,
from last year.
your turn. I keep stepping
no,
on you.
I have a late model body. I have a car with an engine in it. I would just need to get bumpers and tires. But I'm like, there's so much aggravation involved, and those guys are so fucking fast. It's like,
That's why you'd only do it at the Mugen Challenge when all the ninjas come and do it just for that one night, and that's it.
And the whole time you should just wreck them. Just put the heaviest, like reinforce your bumper.
Isn't that what they were doing the last time? At like the last couple of hours, they were actually trying to wreck each other. I think.
yeah.
It was
Well,
like,
Maypool was like 18 laps on everyone else. So.
There you go. You could join in the fun.
I really hope Average Joe makes a guest appearance at the Muggin Challenge to at least come run that oval race.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be cool.
That'd be
Bo
cool.
Jornhorse?
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't be Bo. He'd be running 8th skill, so I think he'd be back to Joe.
But if he's only running the oval race that one night,
I don't know.
I
don't know the semantics of that.
I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know.
Did he go and enter intermediate nitro buggy?
No way. Pro guy,
But
for sure.
So Toby said he was at RCGP?
Yeah, I went to the 2019 series.
So
which
the
was
first,
series.
yeah.
Yeah, where they actually did an international series. So it was
Yeah, that first series was really sweet.
oh yeah, it was. Indonesia, I think round 1.
It was somewhere in Italy, somewhere in the UK, I think, right?
Yeah, like crazy. And then it was Thunder Alley, which
Oh
was
yeah.
I think round 4 was Thunder Alley, where I went to with Matt Navoso, and it was fucking incredible. I mean, you know that. I mean, I learned so much, or really, well, I was just exposed to so much, and really, you look at like what other races now, other events, they've learned a lot from what RCGP did at that, in terms of just production side of things. And like if you looked at a DNC, like the finish line, they have a flag over the top. RCGP did all that, like so. But that was like a crazy race, Ongaro and Runnerfolk and all those guys for the international side of things. It was nuts.
That was awesome.
And then I
So
went
you were in
to
like the spec tire class or whatever? Was it a spec tire for the RC? You were RC2, I guess that was called.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it probably was spec tire, but
Or
I
or
went
was
to
it on the first series? Because I know this. I think the second series it was a spec tire.
yeah,
You're an
2022,
RC2 guy.
2022, 2021,
Some
2022
TZO
was
thing I know, but
yeah. I ran a TZO tire with a grey wheel. I ran the Miyako there. I was down at S&B Raceway for that.
oh, you went to both of them. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was able to go to that. That was an insane event because it was like so windy. Like wind was fucking ridiculous. Like it was, you get like windburn at the end of the day, and they had
Ooh.
the media tent was like ready to fucking blow away. And that was like like a mini circus tent. The sides were flapping around. They had like a stage for interviews. It was like blowing all around. It was nuts. But it was a great event. I was glad to be part of it, but it wasn't as good as the first one. Just
No,
because
not at all. Not at all.
No,
Even just like
no.
watching it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and then after that, it just unfortunately just
Yeah.
couldn't happen logistically. It's just no one wanted to really make the investment, unfortunately. So just go back to business as usual. So yeah, that's it. from
Yeah.
me.
Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah. Taylor, drink your protein juice. Drink your muscle milk. So, Toby, I got a camper now for LCRC, right?
Nice.
Just picked it up a couple days
Mobile
ago.
woodshed.
The mobile woodshed,
That's
we're
exciting.
calling it. And Taylor is included on the guest list amongst some other people from my area. And
Yeah.
it's funny because like the top bunks in it are only labeled for 200 pounds. And when I made the guest list, I'm like, I'm not trying to talk shit here, but like the top bunks are only for like 200 pounds or less. So like I will sleep in a top bunk and then someone can take the master baiting room or whatever you want to call it. But because like even Taylor being 5'4" or whatever, He just has to be as
He's
wider than the damn
sideways,
door
too,
frame.
you know?
He's wide and he's a
Yeah,
he's
you.
wide base.
They're like twin beds, so Taylor's like right shoulder would be leaning off of it anyway, and even yeah. But yeah,
we're recording our podcast tomorrow night. We're doing it live actually, so
yeah, that's
you
right.
guys want to file in.
What time are you
I
guys
thought it
going
was
live?
Tuesday.
I think it's 7:30 or 8 maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. It's George's gig, so I just
Yeah, you just get on when he
I'm
tells you.
psychic.
We stay up
Till
2
the
nights in a
production
row.
crap.
You're
I
sure
know,
it wasn't
man.
a Tuesday?
No. What's the date today? 22nd? Oh, maybe it's
What
tomorrow.
is it with all the podcasts and doing Tuesdays anyway? Track Rats is Tuesdays.
Track Rats
Wheel and
is
Triggers
Tuesday, Wheel and
Do
Triggers
another
Tuesday.
day, guys. Come on.
I try to have ours
Really?
out Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, so then it's out well before Hump Day.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. I just looked, Toby. I was wrong.
Thanks. All right.
Well, this isn't going to be done by tomorrow, so I can promise you that.
I'll be tired on Tuesday.
I don't know. What other has anyone been doing any racing recently? Anyone?
Not at all. I just gave up on 10 scale indoors pretty much.
Yeah. Well, how far is Mackin from you?
1 3/4 if I'm kind of hauling ass just a little bit.
That's not
It
bad.
really is the closest track to me, and LCRC would be number 2.
Yeah.
But that's
For just like one day, 3 hours is kind of 2 hours is kind of much.
But I'm used to it because anything else is further than that.
It depends
So,
on how long the race day is too. Like if they do like a standard of 2 quals, I'd be there all the time if I was in your shoes.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard. Like I'm always like an early guy. Like I'll show up right at
Doors
I
open.
forget if it's 7:30 or 8 when they open up, and then it's getting over and wrapped up and finished. Usually like 5 p.m. or so.
Yeah.
Roughly. So it's not horrible. You know, stop, get a decent dinner. There's a couple good bars to get some food on the way back. But they have like a championship type race. It fell on LCRC's opening weekend. Normally I would try to go to some of the bigger events and stuff there, but the traction compound, like
Yeah, I
it
remember you
gets so
saying.
stuffy and
Yeah, you were telling me last.
I started getting sick being around it, so I just kind of gave up on it. I was
That
like,
shit's nasty.
yeah. The last Making Tracks event that I did, and it's nothing against them at all. I like all those guys, and I like racing there.
Yeah, sure.
But on the way home, I felt like I was hungover from drinking, just from being around it so
Yeah.
much. I was like,
I
yeah.
remember the
not worth it.
traction compound days. I remember buggy grip. Oh yeah.
Paragon.
Like you'd be fine there, like you'd smell it, like man, all this smells. But on that ride home, it would hit you. You get a headache and stuff, and you go, "Why do we do all this?"
Yeah.
Next
no,
week,
it's
back
awful.
ready to do it again. You know.
Yep.
The local track I used to race, it was SXT. That was all you allowed because that's got no.
Because it's like
odor.
low smell and everything. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it's still nasty. You get it on your hands. It's fucking all over the place. But
Yeah.
yeah.
My first couple bad experiences were up at Big Dog, pitting upstairs, I would say, where you kind of all the heat rises. Yep.
Oh,
And
no.
you guys know that I've probably been there.
Yeah.
And it gets real stuffy
I
up
thought
there.
the upstairs was limited to the cool kids of
No.
the big dogs. I didn't know that was open to anybody upstairs. I think
Yeah.
I've only been there like twice, so I don't know.
You got your reserved like those doors.
They
that
got like
shut
the rooms that
people.
are reserved. Yeah, but then there's like an open
They
area
got, like, rooms
upstairs.
now, too.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in
Yeah.
zillion years.
Yeah,
so I
you can
wouldn't know.
legit like buy or rent or whatever, however they do it, like your own like little, it's like a 10 by 10 room essentially, and like all the guys that live, 10, 15 minutes from there, that's where all they get the 24-hour access pass, and then that's where all their racing shit stays.
Yeah, just like the MX Acres guy, I think he does that.
Yeah,
too.
I think I know Toucan like a year or two ago had a room, and like Cash and Chris had a room. I don't know if they still do or not, but like if you live next door to it, it's fucking. That's what I'd do.
Yeah,
You
that-
know?
yeah, that's what I do.
I'd
That
just
sounds
go
sweet.
in and fucking.
It'd
If
be
I
like
get
a
bored
gym,
at 10
you just
o'clock
go
at
whenever you
night,
want.
I'd go down there and work on my shit and make some laps. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But
The very last time I went there, we pitted downstairs, and it was a lot better, but it's still like that whole odor builds up, all that.
Yeah.
Gets you on the way back home. The almost 4-hour trip on the way back home it is for me.
yeah, that's rough. I'm gonna still keep doing it, but it's rough.
Yeah.
That when I was at Tim's today at TR Speedway, they had their flea market today, which was super cool. But I was talking to Bachman, and we were talking on-road naturally, because like some guys said some on-road shit for sale. I'm like, what the fuck do I get? But anyways, Bachman's like, yeah, I don't know how you fucking do it, because we were in there like talking to Tony's Friday night, and then Saturday night you and Davey are in fucking Long Island, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know how we do it either, but we make it home safe somehow.
You see, LCRC had the practice day yesterday.
Yeah,
And then,
if it wasn't for what the fuck did I do? If I didn't have to, if we didn't need to get shit done at WO, I probably would have ended up driving out to come make some laps. But
they were pulling pipe today, starting to work on the track for
Yeah.
the new layout.
yep, yeah, I'm so stoked for LCRC, so stoked.
I may go down on a Wednesday for the opener.
I
Just
was
ahead of
thinking the
time.
same. I was gonna, as the camper thing develops, as long as I, get a spot, I want to ask Kevin if I can come Wednesday night with the camper, because I just want to make sure the thing's set up, and then I can be ready to go Thursday morning for whatever he needs, and I'll work day shift that day, so I can be out there by like 7-8 o'clock.
If that changes for you, keep me posted, because I'll definitely go down Wednesday then.
Yeah, I will. I'll keep you in the loop on that deal.
I was really just planning on doing that, helping Kevin set up
Yeah,
for the event, get the tables out,
Yeah.
tents and all that.
yeah, I want to do what I can to help out. But anyone else got any spicy conversation?
Not right now. I know tomorrow while I'm at work, I'll probably be like, "Oh man, we could talk
Why
about
didn't I
this
bring
and
up
that,"
this thing?
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the whole Cole Ogden and Lee thing, but Lefty just covers that so much better, and has the
I don't
following
know
for
what
that.
else there is to talk about. Nobody still knows what happened.
Are we live on
Whatever.
air still?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can also cut things out, so just tell me if
No.
I need
I
to cut out whatever
wonder-
you're about to say.
I wonder if Lee ran the buggy today. Today was, or
Yes,
yesterday or whatever, was
I
their
did.
opener.
The spring fling,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Was he always with ProTech Engines, MKS servos?
I have no
Or
idea.
was that a new change?
No
Okay.
idea.
Yeah, I
All
don't.
right.
I don't
Yeah, I
know
don't
what
think
he's
he
been
was- I
running
think he
for
was-
engines and everything.
What was that, Toby? You were quiet.
Yeah, I don't think he was running the Samurai engines.
Okay.
I don't know. He was probably just running OS or something before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I see he's, the new car, ProTech, MKS. I think they're all new changes for him, but not
Oh,
certain.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely different program, I think.
and then
Very late silly season. As
he
Lefty said.
ran, took first at the Adrenaline Pro Nitro Buggy, and he
Was
made a
surprised.
post. Was it Jonah Wilson? And Jonah Wilson's dad, I believe, came up to help him, for the day or something like that.
That's cool.
Oh,
I
that's
think
right, because that
it's
Jonah Wilson kid is Sparko too, isn't he? I forgot.
Barkley Sparko.
it's
Barkley Sparko.
it's funny to me because like Jacob was TLR, Jacob Hardison, he was TLR, and then TLR had their thing where they were like, we're not having a pro team anymore or whatever.
So I bought a Techno.
Yeah. So he got a
And then-
Techno buggy, or he got a Techno
Both.
buggy to
He got
try it
both.
out. He was on a Techno buggy first, and then he ended up getting a Techno truggy, and then Lee talked him into getting the associated buggy to try that out. And he's just trying things out, seeing what he
And
likes.
now Lee's gone from Associated. So
So
is he
now
gonna
Lee's
have
gone
the
from
Sparko
Associated, so
too?
I'm curious if Jacob's gonna find his way into a Sparko too. So it's just
Speaking
it's funny.
of other sparkly Sparkos, other topics, what about Matt Novoso's new car? Toby, you checked that out, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, Matt's been working on it for a while. So, I know he was pretty determined to do it. I mean, it's a crazy big thing to try and do, but looks like he's doing it. So I don't know how much parts of the car he's gotten done. I mean, he's probably got all of the CNC stuff done.
Oh wait, I
Um,
think I lost track of what we were talking about. Fill me in.
Matt
So
Novoso's car.
position
this-
1 RC.
Yeah, you may have not seen
Familiar.
it unless you follow them. Yeah, he
So he's
basically is.
making the car is what we're talking.
Yeah, he designed a car. He's been doing it for a couple of years now. So he's gotten really heavy into the CAD stuff, designing a lot of the components. So he's just got a prototype car together. Basically, he's going to start testing it. So he's obviously like Miyako when they got going. They ran some HB parts and whatever just to get something together to run. So some parts were
A mule car, yeah.
Yeah, so I think like I said, he's got all the CNC stuff done. I don't know arms and stuff, whatever, but but he actually has a very unique caster blocks. Something I think he talked to
Yeah.
me about. You can adjust on the top of the caster block. You can move the kingpin around to change your KPI, all that kind of jazz.
All in
caster.
one block and not have to buy separate ones.
That's
It's
interesting.
Yeah,
got like
exactly.
a insert on the top, so I think
Mhm.
you can change out
Oh.
the insert to change
Yep.
where the ball stud goes. It appears to. If you look it
Yeah.
up on Facebook, Position 1RC. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that he was working on a car, Toby. So that was news to me when they released it. I was pretty excited for him. I hope he doesn't
Yep.
take offense to me saying this. I would say the arms kind of look like an HB resemblance with
Quite
the carbon
probably,
inserts
yeah.
on top, and a lot of the adjustments to me when I was looking around kind of look like Mayako-ish. Like the Mayako, when I see it, it's got endless adjustments of stuff. So I see
Yeah.
kind of like that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Miyako car and I got a little lost in all the different parts and setups and stuff. I really, I'm just not skilled. I don't have the time to spend on it. But, for people who are really into it, they can, really get into it. But I mean, if you're designing a car at this stage, it's best. Like Marco, I think they picked, like the best parts from HB, the best parts from Kyosho, the best
Well,
parts from
Cav was saying on Lefty's podcast with the truggy they're designing, they're using X-ray arms currently in the designing process.
Oh
So.
wait, I didn't listen to that either yet. La, 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 la.
Was it Cav or Max?
Well, JQ was saying how they're using X-ray arm. Not, I don't know why. Well, Cav's driving for him, but
Yeah.
JQ was saying that they're working on a truggy, and it's not done yet. They said like probably next year they'll have it ready, but
Yeah.
they're using X-ray arms with all the buggy shit,
Yep,
But
yep.
and then he was saying how, like you said, Toby, like that's what people generally do in their designing is they use hot bodies or X-ray or whatever arms,
Yeah.
and
They just
then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said you look back at like Durango, like I have the Durango buggy hanging up over there, the original
Oh,
DNX
really?
408 when
He's
it
got the
came
camera
out.
for it. Give him a second.
Hmm.
Click the camera over that points at it.
Yeah, I'd have to get up and get it, but the design is fucking insane on that car, but it doesn't translate into anything. On the track it was a bag of dicks.
Yeah.
So
Didn't it have like a fuel tank in the middle or something?
yes, fuel tank in the middle, like the rear, like they had the actual. This is the 4-wheel drive buggy that they had.
Oh, he's got the 4-wheel too.
Yeah, absolutely. So they had these quick change diffs, like for. I mean, I guess it's pretty common now.
It's
but-
standard now,
I
yeah.
guess before anybody else, yeah.
I mean, Durango are like so ahead of the curve. I mean, Serp and Durango were good. The guy who, developed this car. But yeah, you could put, easy diff changes, front and rear. It had this kind of weird setup in the rear. But basically they took that design to the 8-scale buggy, and it was just a fucking disaster. On the track. I mean, Ryan Lutz drove it.
Yeah, Ryan Lutz made it look good, but then again, he makes anything
Yeah,
look
he
good.
made it look good, but he had to do so much stuff to it, and I had that car, and I would follow Ryan, and I would be doing all this fucking nonsense to the car to just try and get it to work. But you shouldn't have to do that to a car just to get it to even borderline work. So I think we all learn, in the industry that trying to do something completely something totally innovative doesn't translate into results. So why don't you just go with all the good stuff from all the cars, and you can develop a good car from there, but you don't need to.
I pulled up my notes and I had a whole bunch of other topics and stuff for different podcasts. Did you guys
Like,
watch
he
the
has
DNC?
notes. Like he's a vice host guest, and he's got all the notes and all this stuff.
Let's just have beers.
Yeah, he wants to get a promotion.
Yeah, I guess.
No,
You can have my
I
job.
don't want to do any more work.
Wants to be.
Here's your
VP.
promotion.
Did you guys watch the DNC race?
I did not. I caught
Not
like
live,
the
no.
we were
We're
we were busy
busy
doing a
working
thing.
that
Remember?
We're doing on-road nats.
Yeah.
We were-
I was more busy than that, so no.
Big carpet guys, are you? Huh?
Yeah, big carpet guys.
Yeah.
Hung
Yeah, we
for
turned our back to
watchers now.
off-road now.
Day one, it kind of rained out. So you guys probably heard the drama.
Like
where a lot of
Nitro,
people
what
didn't
was
get
it?
track
Nitro
time.
Buggy got like no practice or something, right? And
Yep.
like only 2
Yeah.
quals or something
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because of weather.
There's a couple people that I believe, because it started raining, their practice time for Nitro Buggy was qualifier 1.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
didn't get on the track
yeah.
till then.
I remember JQ saying that. Yeah,
But that seems to be just synonymous with this event anymore. It's just you're going to run into weather issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
always a
believe so.
clusterfuck.
Yeah. Day 2,
It's the third Nitro challenge.
the crew worked the entire night to fix the track. Like, I believe they worked till like 4 a.m. So,
Wow.
props to them to do all that.
wow.
Then during Q2, they were having power issues and they kept losing power within the facility. So sometimes the live stream and stuff was going down, all that. It was Scotty and Charlie Swanka.
Right.
They're both together on the mic, and those two,
Best.
yeah, they were very good. I like their energy. I would always recommend those two on the mic if you could.
Charlie's a lot of fun.
I've always liked Charlie. I've never met him in person, but I've had some conversation with him online through Hobby Wing stuff, and what a
Yeah.
great guy. He's pumped. Like anything RC, like he gets super excited about.
Back in the golden age of Motorama, he would run the 10 scale off-road track, and Scotty would run the 8 scale stuff. So you got he would be like, this is the awesome track, and
Yeah.
that's the other track.
The big track and the awesome track.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember going there with Charlie running the program. I raced one time on the 10 scale side when Charlie was running it. And
Dang, yeah.
yeah,
That's
you did
awesome.
too, Davey. Like it was.
I mean, I have no idea the Charlie or if he was running or what, but my first Motorama, I was running 10 scale, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
kind of bittersweet that they don't run 10 scale because it's super sweet. But then again, if you wanted to do both, you'd kind of get fucked. So in a way,
Yeah,
it's
no.
kind of good that they run the oval. It's like, yeah, that's the oval. That's good. I can focus on one thing, but it'd be sweet to run 10 scale again at
Yeah.
Motorama.
My second year, I ran 4-wheel drive short course and 2-wheel drive short course. So like 2 different tracks. Like I remember like the night before, I had a dream that I was up in both, and I was like, God damn it. So then I get there Friday morning, and I was up at the same time for both in the first practice. I was like,
that.
fuck. So one guy we raced with at the time, Ethan Ross, gave him my car, and he bound his radio to it. And he was fast as fuck, so I'm like, oh, I'm loading the pot here. This dude's gonna seed me so well. And then he broke a ball cup the ball cup popped up in the first lap, I guess. I came back from my short course, and I was like, well, I hope you did better for me than I did for me. He's like, I didn't even finish. I was like, fuck.
Bummer.
One of the other notes I have from DNC is, can we please get rid of the driver introductions in the sponsor list? They take like half hour. You guys know what I'm
Well,
talking
if we
about.
want to be professional, that's what you do.
I don't know what you're talking about because we were
Yeah.
too busy doing driver introductions and sponsor lists at the Carpet
gives you
On-Road
a-
Nationals.
Now,
Everybody-
am I
Yeah.
being stupid? Do they do that for every A, or do they only do it for A1? Because we were there on Sunday and
Did
they
it-
were doing it.
Just day one.
Well, they were doing driver introductions for A3, I think. I don't think they were going through sponsors and everything. But it might have been
Yeah,
more of
and-
a setting the grid thing, and they were just like, in the one
Yeah.
spot is going to be,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sam
Again,
Isaac.
I was in and out, so but I do remember
you
them
were in and
announcing.
out.
Yeah.
Busy
Okay.
throwing up. Missed all that.
I'm busy trying to throw up too. That's
Yeah, he
that's
never
another
threw
part.
up. And
Yeah, everybody tells me it's beer, dude. You puke and rally. No, apparently not. Where was my rally? nowhere to be found.
Whole way home,
Like,
he's
if it would've
like,
all just ended- if it would've
yeah,
all
I
ended
feel
at the
so
hotel
sick, and I'm
room
like,
that
eat some
night, I would've
crackers.
woke up,
Nope.
it'd have been great. But nope, no. All day Sunday, the whole ride home, and even like half the day on Monday. It's like just out to lunch. It's like, come on. God.
That's what my hangovers are like.
It's like,
Doesn't
I
get
thought
any
this-
easier with age.
Good.
Go for it.
I thought this event was going to end up being Fenn's to lose. Pretty much, I expected him to come out on top. Really for this.
yeah.
You guys see the results already for DNC?
I know
I
Mayfield
watched
like
the
kicked
back, but
everyone's
I don't
ass,
really. Mayfield won everything,
and
except
Van
for the
Dalen
nitro
won.
truck.
Seth won the other thing, and
Seth
If you
won the
guys
nitro
go
truck.
back to watch anything, any race at all, I would say watch Nitro Truggy. That was
That's
the
the
race.
one I still
That's
think
the
I'm
one
missing.
Seth Van Dalen took,
Yeah.
yeah.
but it had a whole bunch of place exchanges and all that. Nitro Buggy was pretty good. Even had Tebow up leading first place for a little while.
Nice.
And Nitro
he had
Buggy?
yeah, Nitro Buggy.
He's good.
I don't remember that.
And they had quite a few place exchanges.
You mean
in that.
Fuller? Fuller was leading. I feel like it was Fuller
I
that
could
was
be
leading
wrong.
Nitro Buggy.
Okay, maybe it was Fuller.
I don't
Tebow
remember
was lead-
Tebow.
Then maybe it was Nitro Truggy. It was Tebow was
Maybe it
leading
was,
first.
yeah.
Yeah. My
And
fault.
that's the only one I haven't watched yet was the Nitro truck, but I remember
then-
Fuller was in the lead for a while of Nitro Buggy.
Mhm. It definitely wasn't a race for Lutz. I think E-Buggy, he was in the C main. Yeah, and I can't remember where he finished in Nitro Buggy.
I think he
Nitro,
made the main in that though, didn't he?
I believe so, but it wasn't great.
Somewhere towards the bottom,
No.
almost like he didn't finish. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we were
It's-
smart. We would have this up on a screen.
Yeah,
we
right.
could be looking.
We don't have Uncle Mike
I thought
here,
Uncle
yeah.
Mike was supposed to be our producer for when we have the live show, or not the live shows, but whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like I feel bad for Lutz, obviously. Like I know his greatness, I know what he can do, but it's also like nice to see the pro drivers be human. And it was like when they all raced at Beach RC, not all of them, but like the ones that went down to race 10 scale, and they were all struggling
Was it
with the track.
Nationals track, or was it the
Whichever track they like,
MOD,
that was
or
like
was it the
super
mod
hard or
track? Was
whatever.
it the Masters of Dirt track,
I forget which
where they
one.
had that rhythm section in the middle?
Yeah, and there was like this
was,
5-pack that was like a triple double or a quad six. You could take it 18 different ways, but it was
Yeah,
hard no matter
I
which
remember
way.
if that was
was,
the Nats or
that
no, that was
was-
the mod race. It was that
that
year
was
because they
20
had the
yeah, it
mod
was-
race, and that was the same year they had the Nationals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 23 mod.
yeah.
Masters of
But
Dirt.
point being, it's just nice.
Which, by
I
the
don't wanna
way,
say
they
nice,
had their
but-
Palmetto Classic. Their last race ever was the same weekend as the Carpet Nats and as DNC.
Yeah.
Which,
Yep.
if Alex told me, you want to go 6.5 hours to Myrtle Beach, it's like, man, that would have been cooler. Toby, why couldn't you have gotten on that deal? They didn't have any coverage. Like, come on.
Yeah, actually, a few years ago, before I kind of got more hardcore into it, Brent had actually asked me to go down there and do Masters of Dirt. But this was like, way back yonder. So I was,
Yeah,
but that would have been cool.
definitely would have been. It's
Went
always,
out of
when they
race
talk
course.
about it, it always seems like a fun event to have gone to. Seems like our speed, what we would need to be doing.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gone, but isn't what it meant to be.
I got a list of new products.
Oh, I'd love to hear that. Does it
Look at
start
this
off
guy.
with
He's
the
like a-
Lucy 22, the sprint car?
No,
Is that even on the list?
don't have anything oval. I'm sorry.
You're not allowed to sell it until like the end of the month or something,
No, it's Thursday.
It's out.
or whatever. Carry
Yeah,
on.
it's out.
Oh,
It's in
yeah.
hobby shops. Like I looked at 4 of them
Yeah, I
today
saw
because
it.
Tony had
Wow,
them in the
yeah.
back room. Tim had one unboxed, but they aren't allowed to sell them till Thursday, I guess.
Is there a lot of drama behind that? I don't know anything about it.
No, as far as I know, there's not. It seems like from at least locally, from what I heard, everyone's super stoked on it. Cause, like, I mean, I'm not an oval guy, but looking at it, it's super scale. It looks well built. It's an aluminum chassis, brushless. It's offset for the oval. The whole
And this is like with a custom, or I don't know what experience you guys have with like 10 scale sprint cars.
Well,
Like,
this is what I'm asking. Is it, and it is 10 scale, so it is like a custom works or a GFRP?
yeah, well, yeah, it's like, you know,
I-
buggy tires and whatnot.
But I highly doubt it's going to be able to compete with those cars.
Hey,
No,
I
it's
wanna-
going to be its own.
yeah,
I think it's a little bigger actually, but
Oh, okay. So of course it's just going to be its own thing.
yeah,
like
it's
the
going to be
Traxxas
its own
cars
box
are.
stock class
Yeah,
essentially.
No. I think I can say from experience that the community will just totally fuck that class completely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They'll,
I
like,
believe it.
modify and add a whole bunch of shit into it, create a whole bunch of rules.
Welcome
you
to
know.
a stock class, bro.
Yeah,
This is-
we can't
What's
just
the
run it box
Traxxas
stock.
doing in
So,
oval?
but what's nice about it, I really liked, is like with the Custom Works car. I don't know if I have mine or Austin might still have it. To take like the body,
you
the
know you have
cage,
it.
and everything off, it's like 18 screws. You know, you literally have to unscrew each post from the chassis. But this Losi car, it's a quick release button in the back. Bam. Top wing and all. Done. In one swift motion to get to your battery, your motor, ESC. So that's really cool. And how it comes brushless and everything. Like, that's awesome. And like it has the threaded shocks on it. Like, it's definitely very tunable out of the box. And I think it has 22 buggy A arms. So it's like the 22 platform that's been out for 15 years or whatever. So
2011 almost.
yeah. So it looks like I'm stoked for the oval community to get it, but it's gonna end up being another box stock class that, like Toby said, is gonna get ruined at some point because
Yep.
that just seems to be what we do with shit. Is we get this good thing and we just fucking trash it.
Is that what happened to the
Yeah, we're
Traxxas,
not
or is that
really-
still doing okay?
With like
An
Mud
oval.
Boss,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Modified. Hey, it's called a modified.
No,
easy.
because there was like actual Mud Boss, and then Traxxas made their Mud Boss, which then got turned into
Yeah.
the Traxxas
Right,
Modified.
yeah.
But that basically happened when Mud Boss it was like, okay, here's this stock class, and then everyone was like, well, if you take nitro fuel line and put it inside your shock for a limiter, or if like you cut the gears, or if you do this with your like if you put the steel gears in it, but you polish
It
them, and
sounds
it's
like
a little
a
bit more
topic for a
speed.
whole nother podcast.
Yeah, you tune your brush
Stock
motors
stock
this way. Well, this
racing,
guy's
yeah.
selling brush motors for $100, but they're tuned, even though they started off as the $10 motor. And
You broke them in and all that.
You buy like 10 of them and then you break them all, then you pick the best one. And
yeah, and then
So
you burn it up every race.
what
So
you're
it's like
getting
to
into,
be
Alex. That's what you
competitive,
wanna
you got to
do.
spend $100 a weekend.
That's
I
what
would
you wanna
almost
do.
buy the Traxxas and go to LCRC's Dream Race just to run it box stock with the rest of the guys.
Oh, and
I think
you'd get
Smoji and
smoked.
Dennis Brew did it last
yeah,
year.
they did.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get
they
smoked down the straight, like not even handling wise, just like, which like, and it's weird because like there's always gray areas, and racing in any discipline, whether it's RC cars or quads or cars, F1, NASCAR, whatever, there's always gray areas. There's always going to be people pushing the envelope.
And I
Some
think that's
people
just
cheating,
the nature of it.
but
That's it.
and we're always growing, adapting, engineering, getting better, getting faster. So it's like we can't really complain that people are finding out how to make their cars faster. It's just annoying that people getting faster just in turn means people spending more money, which in turns mean it's
When
less
it's not
attractive to
supposed
the
to be,
person
yeah.
that's not already doing it. So now this guy that's never done it looks at this $1,000
So,
price tag and
I
he's like,
think-
fuck
I
that.
think everything like keys together. It starts out as one thing, but then box stock class, everybody gets involved. It's cheap, all this good stuff, and it's like, now I'm taking the seals out of my bearings and lubing this and limiting
Yeah.
my shocks, and then it's like, well, maybe this is better now. Now it's maybe this, and maybe I should have just got a mod car the whole time that I was avoiding because I couldn't drive it. It's just too much. But it all kind of evens itself out. Like, I mean,
Yeah, it's weird.
personally, I agree. All the things, like, let's have box stock class and all be the same. And it's supposed to just be the driver. It's like, well, in theory, that's great. And that's really super awesome. I'm totally down with that. But I totally, not that I'm an innovative or a creative person, but I'm totally the person who will start like taking the seals out of the bearings, or something,
Yeah. Anyways, Taylor has a list of products that came out.
Yeah,
that's fine.
apparently
It's still
now
a
the
good
show is
conversation.
starting,
Yeah.
He's got a whole syllabus on us here. Like Jesus.
Exactly what Davey's saying is kind of how I feel how RC drag racing's just eliminating itself and
Yeah.
destroying itself because it became too competitive when some of these races are $10, $20, $30,000 to win. So now you get these people who don't have a full-time job who are just always
Yeah, and people are not
testing.
worried about
Yep.
spending $1,000 in expendable
Yeah.
money for motors or tires or whatever the fuck they're gonna use once when it's the best. And
Oh
then-
yeah, remember RC drag racing? I forgot about that already.
It's still a thing.
Yeah.
There was a quarter scale rail car at Tim's at the flea market, the 2-stroke one.
Jeez.
It was sweet.
The popular one was 10 scale electric though.
Yeah,
2S.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was
I
the
remember
no
there
prep
used to be a
shit
group
and-
of guys that went to what the hell is that place called in New Al? Keystone.
Oh yeah,
Keystone Raceway
Yeah.
Park. The guy would let them drag race down at the end by the safety net, but I guess I don't know what happened to that. Apparently, they don't do that anymore.
yeah. I don't know.
Another class that seemed fun for about like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Before we forget, Toby,
got so
what
much-
who and what do you want to shout out?
That's a good question. Obviously, Kevin and Christopher for everything they give me and have given me so many opportunities. And with the 46RC stuff, Christopher's always busting my ass for not pushing myself. So I'm always appreciative of those guys. And really, I've been in the hobby a little while now, and so I always like to give back as much as I can because I get so much from the hobby and people that I meet. So, shout out to everybody really. So, people put up with my mumbling and jabbering on,
Exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah.
We
So,
appreciate
yeah.
you for everything you do. I'll say it on
Thanks,
behalf
man.
of everyone, and I know everyone in this Foursquare Brady Bunch corner will say the same
Here's
thing.
the story. See, I have to look this way to look at you, Alex.
gotta-
Is this how you look at me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Toby.
you up for
Yeah,
it that
Toby. We
way?
appreciate you a lot, buddy. And yeah, Taylor, you're pretty cool too. And Davey, thanks for riding along places.
Virtual high five. Which way is everyone?
Well, I'm mirrored, so you got to go the opposite way of what you think. And
See, yeah, you're mirrored for what we're looking at,
leaving
but
me
not
hanging.
what I'm looking at. I'm looking at you normally. Am I doing it?
but
But
Yeah.
thank you guys for having me on as well. It's been fun.
thanks for joining.
Thanks
It
for
was a
doing it.
blast.
Voguing.
It was awesome hearing more of your story and hearing more about you, and getting on a personal level, especially with the hobby and where 46RC came from and where you came from. I love hearing that shit about all racers. And I hope everyone that listens to this can agree. And if you don't, then maybe smile more and be a more cheerful person because it's pretty cool shit. But Taylor, you wanna shout anyone out since you're a guest?
Well, Slowest Fast RC podcast.
They're lame. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't swear on here.
Really, the only 2 stickers I run on my car are 46RC right there, support Toby's business, and LCRC. So, very thankful for Toby to do media. Even before I knew Toby personally, I was watching live streams at LCRC. So,
Heck yeah.
yep.
Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank Toby again, 46RC, for jumping on with us. Very cool. As I said 15 times already to have you on. Thank you to Taylor for jumping on with us, especially while you're on call and helping out with talking to Toby and, providing all the conversation you started and everything you do. Thank you for Davey for being able to join. Thank you,
Yeah, I finally
ACS,
made
for
it to
helping
one of
out.
these things. It's weird.
Huh? What'd you say?
It's like I finally made it to one of these things. It's weird.
Yeah,
you
right?
know.
You're doing the thing.
I'm actually doing the
Yeah.
thing you said we were supposed to be doing. You know?
Okay, we'll sign off. Thank you, everyone. And
Bye.
good night, everyone.
Take it easy, guys. See ya.
Goodbye.
Well-
Toby bounced, but we realized we forgot to do the thing that we do every episode. Thank you for David
Which
for
now
reminding.
makes it not fun.
Davey,
Oh.
if you would like to take the honors on this one.
Okay, well, remember everybody to keep it between the pipes, on its wheels. And Taylor, what do we say?
Slow is fast.